life.
Okay.
Let
me see what Zeb and them.
Because it's all testing and error or whatever, you know, trial and error.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
And see how they do it. They jump right back home.
Right.
You good? Okay. Look like we're good. So, okay, Rodney, we should be back good. Who's ever out there, tell them to just refresh. We should be good. Okay, so y'all, today's lesson was King David born in sin / iniquity. And all of this is based off of Psalm 51. That where people or different individuals start to go into their own understanding of what that means. So some will say, well, that means you could be born in sin. Well, we want to get to the definition of what sin is, what iniquity is, and what infirmity means. And then we'll get into the law, and it'll explain what sin is. Can y'all hear back there? Brother John, can you hear us back there clear? Okay. Okay. So 2 by watch for that buffering. Is everybody back on?
Not everybody will be following me.
Okay. So, y'all, we want to make sure that we don't get mixed up that you can be born in sin.
Right.
Now, we're going to get clear on that and see what David was exactly talking about. Was he actually saying what you think you're reading? And y'all, how we want to do this, y'all know how we get down. Our one and only high priest, Yeshua HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ.
Right.
He brings forth the law after the order of Melchizedek, which he is the high priest of, the one and only high priest, the intercessor to the Father. Mm-hmm. He brings forth the law to every male, female, rich, poor, free and bond, Jew or Gentile. Now, the Bible is Yah's law book. This right here is his law book. He said you need this law book for your whole life. It first started off, your life was 1,000 years. We never made it to that because we sinned at the beginning in an immortal status. So that took our life down. So next, the world was going to be destroyed. And he said, I'm going to give you 120 years of life now. So this class then was 120 years. This Bible class is 120 years because it's based off of a life of a man. You need this your whole life. There's nothing that it gives you and say you could put it down. I think I know enough, or I feel comfortable enough on Judgment Day.
Right.
If you still alive and this is put on the shelf and you think you know it all, you done fooled yourself. Now, after we get past the flood and we get to Abraham, now life is considered 70 years, 70. So the minimum times it takes to learn this Bible is 70 years. It's not saying like technically a 70-year course, but if you're alive for 70 years, you need it every day of your life of those 70 years. Right. There's scripts in here that talks about when you get a hoary head or your hair turns gray. Then there's instructions for the gray head. That don't work for a teenager. And then we understand when we get that age that you can't go back and do things you did when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
So y'all, this is our manual for our life. Like your car manual that's in your glove box. It tells you everything about that car. Everything. Every light that turns on, everything. So this is what we're talking about, law. Sisters, it pertaining to law.
Basic instructions before leaving earth.
Thank you very much, but we have to explain that. The basic instructions are in here. The first 5 books, then the law and of the prophets. Absolutely. So we want to get these basic instructions because we're going through basic training.
Exactly.
So to understand this, what David was speaking of, this is the Most High's law book. Now, when you go to court, they have the Bible, but they have their own language as well. Like the Bible has its own language, they have their own language as well. There's something that they use called Black's Law Dictionary or Law Bible. So if you will, Zeb, give me a Black's Law Bible and we'll get the understanding of that so that we'll understand when you go to court, they talk a different language. If you go to court and don't understand the language that they're using, if they say a habeas corpus, that don't mean it's a lazy dead person somewhere around.
Right.
You got to get to understand it.
Exactly.
When they say without prejudice, what does that mean? That don't mean I don't hate white folks. It has a different meaning in the law. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if you will, Zeb, give me that definition of Black's Law Book. Y'all, and this is why we like to compare, because this is in the courtroom. So if this is in the courtroom, we have to make sure this trumps Black's Law Book. But just so you know what language they're using, you can understand.
Right.
Black's Law Book Dictionary.
Yeah.
The Black's Law Dictionary, 12th edition, contains over 65,000 legal terms, each clearly and precisely defined in plain English, fully revised with new material on every page.
So that, and it tells you how long it's been in existence, but y'all see clearly, read that part about how clear it is again, in plain English.
Clearly and precisely defined in plain English.
Plain English, y'all, this is what the Bible does. It clearly defines everything in plain English. You don't have to get no special person. You don't have to contact no special person. We are teachers here. We're third on the list according to 1 Corinthians 12:28. First apostles, then prophets, thirdly teachers. So what we are doing is teaching what the Bible says. Ain't no comet came from outer space and hit us to make us say, okay, this is where we're at. We're following the rules of teaching.
It says the first edition was published in 1891.
And y'all, it's still used to today. It says the blacks not only in America, but it says it's the most used law book on earth in the world. So that's what we have to be understanding of. So when you go to court, you understand that language. Right. When you are in the court of the Most High, you have to understand His language. So y'all, we're going to get the definition of sin, iniquity, and infirmity, because these are all the things, and then we're going to get into Psalm 51 so that you understand what David was saying, and we'll see, is it possible to be born in sin?
Sin, an offense against religious or moral law.
Sin, an offense. Now what we want to do is go to the scripture. So if you will, 1 John 3 and 4, and Romans 8, 1 through 7. So we understand how the Bible interprets what sin is. Well, Romans 8, 1 through 7, but first we're going to 1 John 3 and 4.
All right, family. Going to be reading in the book of 1 John.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 3 and verse 4.
Pull it out.
And it reads. I got you, sis.
There you go, 1 through 4, bro.
Okay.
That'll make it even better.
No doubt.
Going to 1 John chapter 3, 1 through 4. Everybody looking too by? Okay.
Everybody there? The book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of Yah.
See, it said be called. We're not called that yet until we meet a requirement. Go ahead.
Therefore, the world knoweth us not, cause it knew him not.
That's right.
Beloved, Now are we the sons of Yahweh, and it doth not yet appear that we shall be.
No, what we shall be.
What we shall be.
See, and that's future tense. What we shall be. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's no reason to say you're that already until you meet these requirements of the basic training that get you to the point that where it says you are. Go ahead, bro.
From the top.
Yeah.
Beloved, now are we the sons of Yahweh, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him. For we shall see him as he is.
So look, the requirement is that's when we're going to know if we're the sons of God, when we see him. Because he's going to say, my little children.
Right.
You trying to get confirmation now is going to be a problem. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. And
we know that hope, according to Romans, it tells us that hope is not the thing seen. Mm-hmm. You know, but there's the things you're praying for to come into existence. Right. So if you see yourself in the kingdom right now and judgment day ain't happened yet, you're seeing yourself in a false delusion. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
Is that clear, y'all?
Yes,
sin is the transgression of the law. There's a set of laws. If you break them, you're a sinner. Now, also contained in those laws is how to fix oneself or to repair oneself. And that helps you out to get you back on the right path. Go ahead. What's the next one? We're going to do Romans 8, 1 through 7. And let's define sin again, because we have to separate the law of the flesh and the law of the spirit.
Exactly.
There are two different things. The law of the flesh whoops this corrupting skin. The law of the spirit maintains that immortal soul that's perfect. Your flesh is imperfect. Your soul is perfect. It has no malfunctions. It has no check engine lights on. Because it's in the image of God. God is perfect. So your soul is perfect. It's that dying flesh that wants to take control of that soul of yours that's perfect and make it corrupt. Let's get some more.
The book of Romans.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 8 and verse 1.
Go ahead, I'm with you.
And it reads, there is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushua.
Let's everybody there? Romans 8, y'all there? Okay, go ahead.
Who walk not after the flesh.
Walk not after what?
After the flesh. But after the spirit.
Okay, so that's telling us where there's no condemnation at. Because if you're walking after the spirit, you're walking after your soul, the righteousness, the image of God. So there's no condemnation on immortal, what's completely righteous, unless the flesh leads it there and it destroys that. Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
For the law of the spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahushua has made me free from the law of sin and death.
So you're going to die flesh-wise no matter what we do. You're not going to be able unless you're here when the second coming happens. You'll be changed in the twinkling of an eye. But the law of the flesh means it's marked for death and nothing we can do to stop it. But the law of the spirit is about your soul. So we can do things to prevent it from going into what's called eternal damnation. That means everlasting. This is temporal. See how we went from 1,000 years to 120 to 70. This tells you how long this will live. Because it tells you 70. If you make it to 80 years old, but it say this body is going to break down as you're going to start to see it. It's wearing away. It's not like your soul, which is perfect. That's why the soul is being judged, not the flesh on Judgment Day. Because you're taking something that's perfect and you're adding sin to it, and that's what will be judged. He's going to judge the intents of your mind or your soul, so to speak. I want to know what you were thinking when you put forth your hand to do that, and that's where judgment starts. Because whether you have this Bible or not, your being is made up to know what's right or wrong. See, because even if you're talking to an atheist and you ask them, what do you consider wrong? Well, I think if somebody do that, where is that set of laws at? You know where they at? They within him. Because he can say he don't believe in God, but when something comes up, or like he feels something that's wicked, the hair may stand up on your neck, or you feel a chill.
You know
something is evil. You don't say something is righteous at that point.
Exactly.
So it's within you. What you got to say?
God gives everybody a measure of faith so that we have a conscience. Even a little baby knows when something is going on around them.
Well, absolutely, but we have to still keep it defined on what the baby knows and where it comes from, and that's called law.
Right.
See, because somebody say, well, what about them babies right there? What do they think about? You know, we have to keep it to law, and we're going to get to that point of why babies are considered innocent until they reach a certain age, and then they're what's called accountable for their behavior.
Right.
Before that, it's on the parents. Excuse me, it's on the parents till they reach age to where they say they're old enough to be married, to have a husband, a wife, and a man to, a wife to have a husband and a husband to have a wife. Once they get there, they're on their own because they leave their father and their mother.
Right.
Let's read some more.
Back in the book of Romans, chapter 8, and we are in verse
3.
3. Sounds good to me.
Yes, sir.
And it reads, for what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Yah sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh.
So let us understand in this. It's not saying the law couldn't fix flesh, but it can't give you, the law of the flesh can't give you eternal life because that flesh is marked for death. And there's nothing we can do about it after Adam and Eve sinned. It's marked for death. I don't care how you read the law. Unless you read the law where it says Christ is coming. He's going to redeem you and show you the path out of that. So when you hear us say a non-messianic maniac, even though he's keeping the law of the Bible, if he don't keep the law of faith, which is Christ. Christ is the law of faith. We have to listen to everything he says, how he said it, because he was before Adam. And he never sinned once. So that's what we have to understand, the law of faith. It ain't saying the law is done away with. It's saying there's no law you can read that will reverse this dying flesh and you'll live for 1,000 years. That's over. But that immortal soul, go ahead, Zed, what you got?
Acts 13 and 39.
What it say?
And by him all that believe are justified from all things, from which ye could not be justified by the law of Moses.
See, and it's not Moses' law. Let's get it understood. Right. Moses just was given the law.
Right.
But people will say because it is the law, it had nothing to do. But what Moses gave the children of Israel was the law to correct the flesh in the wilderness. And y'all, it didn't last long. It even cost Moses his flesh, but not his eternal soul. Because we were chasing the law of the flesh. We were trying to get it corrected, and it didn't want to be corrected. It says, let us go back where our flesh had fun at, in Egypt. We like those flesh rules. Those flesh rules let us do things in the dark and hide and come out smiling. Teeth the only light you see, shining from wickedness. Let's get some more.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do verse 3 again.
Yeah.
For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Yah sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
Yes, sir.
So the wages of sin is skin. That's
Yes,
skin
sir.
suit.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
So we keep seeing law and tied to both flesh and spirit. So that's letting us know it's the same law. One has a stopping point with the flesh.
Right.
It cannot let corrupt go into incorruption. So it has to be corrected. So the only way you can correct it is what's perfect about you, and that's your soul. There's no scripture in the Bible that says a soul has been malfunctioned or it got on the line. You know how they send a lot of stuff to Big Lots and all these? Those are defects
Right.
from the original. So nothing about your soul has a defect. So you can't look at it like the law of the flesh. Because if you're crippled, you won't be crippled on Judgment Day. That's just your current flesh that's dying. You will be standing up on Judgment Day in perfectness because he's going off of your consciousness, which is it's either regulates good or it regulates evil, and you have to think, obey one, or the other one's going to cause you to disobey. And that's what's going to happen on Judgment Day. You won't be standing there in this dying flesh. It's going back to the dust where it came from. So where does the soul go back? Where did it come from? From the Father.
Yeah.
Let's read some more.
And that's just like it always, you know, that the Spirit is warring against the flesh.
Yes, sir.
The Spirit wants to do what's right and what's righteous, but that flesh, oh boy, fleeing those youthful lusts and all that sin.
It's
Right.
always tied to lust, the flesh.
And that's why the best thing I've heard is, you know, my biggest enemy is the inner me.
That's right.
Because I war against myself.
Because you war against yourself. And understand that the Spirit is perfect, so it don't need our help. All it needs our help to do is make the right decision. And if this goes away, we're still equipped to make the right decision.
Galatians 5:16 says, I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
Y'all see that? Because flesh always says, I want. I want. The soul says, I need. If it needs correction, it doesn't need any wants. There's nothing else you can make your soul greater than it is, or you'll try to be greater than the Most High himself. That's what Satan did. He had a different flesh on him, but he was immortal. He had a flesh on him that he could get through the heavens back and forth. That was corrupted along with his soul because he corrupted his soul in righteousness.
And that is so in line with what the Father does. He gives us what we need.
Not what we want. Wants come from when you do things extra, like your parents may say, if you get all good grades, I'll get you what you want, that new bike.
Right.
But the script say, the Messiah say, you being evil know how to give good gifts. How much more your Father? So I want y'all to put that in understanding. Evil giving good gifts.
Right.
So that's possible. If a man who's an atheist work and then he provide for his household and his children, send them to school, make sure they get, that's a good gift. It's just an evil individual that's doing it. Right. Now he has to get out of that evil mindset and come to giving the soul what it needs, not what it wants. It doesn't need wants. Let me put it like that. There's nothing extra you can do for your soul. Because if you try it, you're going to try to excel against its maker. He said, I made you just like me. Where are you going higher than that?
Right.
What are you looking outside to get higher than that? Let's get some more, but we got some knuckleheads that do it.
Right.
They'll tell you, don't believe none of this. Believe me in this dying flesh. I'm telling you what the deal is. Yeah, I may be dead, but come on now. Let's get some more.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. But they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit.
So, y'all, we let go of dying flesh around here, and we get on the things that are mindful for the Spirit. We're trying to get this corrected.
That's right.
Not this dead.
Yeah.
We want to keep it in line till it dies out all the way.
Right.
But this has to be right until all the way when this died, this still exists.
Yeah.
It still lives. That's what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
For to be carnally minded is death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
So if you trust in this and you know it's already dying, you trust in it, you dead man walking.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
You're carnally minded. You're too minded about what stinks. As we get older, this flesh stinks because it's dying.
Yes, sir.
That new baby back there, how old baby boy back there, is he 1 yet?
Yeah.
His flesh don't stink.
Yeah.
What he may eat and comes out of him gets a little rough, but you can throw that away. But you can't smell his skin and smell corruption because it's at its beginning. But we can smell ours if salt come out of it. Raise your arm up like this and see don't your right guard went left.
Put it down.
But a baby don't have to have deodorant on.
Now,
What you got back there? Okay, let's get it, y'all. Some more.
verse 7.
Yeah,
Because the carnal mind is enmity against Yah.
that means it war against God, who is all supernatural and immortal. That's what it war against. Go ahead.
For it is not subject to the law of Yah, neither indeed can be. You want more?
No, we can hold there, y'all. So we hope that got some understanding when we're talking about sin that started in the beginning. It was the law of the spirit that Adam broke. So when he broke that, he fell under the law of flesh until that be corrected by the one who's coming that was sinless. Taking on flesh like we did, sinful flesh, but never sinned one time.
We got a request to go to 10.
To go to where?
10.
10? Okay, we're going to go down to 10. Let's roll in. You can go on down. Go
I
ahead.
sure would flip the page. That's cool. We'll
Go
run.
on down to 16, y'all. We'll call it.
All right, we'll go to 16.
We're back in Romans 8. And we left off at verse 8.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's stand right there through all that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 8.
Yes, sir.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yahweh.
You cannot please him if you're talking about this dying flesh as something special.
Right.
And embalming fluid waiting on it. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Yahweh dwell in you. Now if any man have not the spirit of Mashiach, he is none of his.
So y'all see the spirit that we have to have is of a Mashiach. He had the spirit of his father and is represented by those 7 spirits right there on that menorah. Those are before the throne of God, and those were put on Christ when he was baptized. It says as in, excuse me, in Isaiah 11 chapter that those spirits will fall on him, and that would make him the Messiah. He would operate from those spirits, not from that flesh. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that flesh was perfect. It had no guile found in its mouth. None. And then he said, there will be some of us like this, the 12 tribes of Israel. They'll offer up 144,000. 12,000 from each tribe except the tribe of Dan. Mm-hmm. That's homework of a whole nother level. And then it says in Revelation 6:9, but I saw another number from all nations, tribes, and kindreds who had passed that test. Not only Israel, the 12 tribes, but also another group of people who believed the law.
Exactly.
And loved it with their heart and their soul,
Yes, sir.
not their flesh. Go ahead, what else to say?
Verse 10.
Yeah.
And if Hamashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin.
Yes, sir.
But the spirit is life because of righteousness.
Y'all see that? If he be in you, this dying flesh won't even come to mind. You understand? Yes, keep it healthy as you
Right,
can.
exactly.
You don't want to have to walk around miserable, but no, there's nothing you can do. There's no operation that can take place that's going to restore this dying flesh back to before Adam sinned. Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
But if the spirit of him that raised up Yeshua from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Hamashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by the spirit that dwelleth in you.
Now notice it said your immortal body,
Right.
not your dying flesh.
Teach, brother, teach.
All praises, Most High, passing it along.
Verse 12. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, Not to the flesh.
Not to the what?
Not to the flesh.
We don't owe the flesh nothing because it's dying. If you knew a building was collapsing, the foundation was no good, would you give them the top flight dollar?
No.
Because if the foundation crash, ain't nothing else no good. I don't care how good the second floor is.
Would you put a new roof on that?
God, come on, man, look. Look, you going to be in a mini house for sure.
There you go.
Because the only thing going to be standing is the roof.
That's it.
Go ahead.
Verse 12 from the top.
Yeah.
Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die.
You should what?
Ye shall die. But if ye, through the Spirit, do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live.
Is that hard, y'all? One says pay attention to one more than the other. One will cause you death if you try to live through it.
Right.
There's millionaires, billionaires that have their frozen dead body on lock,
Right.
hoping the cure comes that will restore their dead flesh. Guess what? When they wake up and they're standing up and the cancer is gone, they're going to like, oh, they must have fixed it. No, you at judgment day. Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
For as many as are led by the Spirit of Yah, they are the sons of Yah.
See, what makes you the son of God or the future son of God
Yes,
is
sir.
that you're led by the Spirit,
That's it.
not by what's dying. And if you put an individual in front of you and call him like your grandmaster, or call him the high priest, or call him reverend, or call him holy father, then you're calling dying flesh immortal.
That makes it clear.
And when you do that, and you go to their funeral before yours, then you're going to know the truth. But you shouldn't have to go through that.
Right.
Let's get some more.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father.
Yes, sir.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh.
Y'all read the rest of that. Yeah, for time's sake, we got to keep moving. But that's what it tells you, what makes you close with the Most High. If you find yourself trying to correct this or correct somebody else's dying flesh and don't make them understand what's more critical, you can't change this. No more than we can take all the wrinkles out of our face and forehead with Botox. You know what I'm saying? But that's a smile that, gonna be tight smile.
Yeah.
Say smile, and you like this, because all this froze. See, you're trying to fool your inside. If I look outside and it looks 22, the inside looks 22 too. No, not if it's 50 on the inside. You can try to make this look like 22, but the inside is still the age it is on that birth certificate. You can fool the outside all you want. I can go in the mirror and do like this. I'm like, that's the way I used to look when I was 17. Yes, sir. Look, Mr. And cover up the gray with some Grecian formula. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And you cover up the gray. You try to make yourself go back years, but you can't stop it. You know why? Because that Grecian formula only lasts as long as it lasts.
That's it. 2
weeks before you have to put some more in. And then you ain't gonna never be able to fool them tenders because you can't die down there. It burns. Let's get some more, y'all. Go ahead. Where we at?
You know, huh? Boy?
Yes, sir. It's what I hear. I ain't trying. Yes, sir.
I wasn't trying to give you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Did we look up iniquity?
No.
So we looked up sin. We just went over sin. 1 John 3, 4, Romans 8, 1 through 16. Or y'all can read all of Romans 8. Now we're getting into iniquity, which is practice sin.
Iniquity, gross injustice, wickedness, a wicked act or thing, sin.
See, you see how it come back to sin, but it's saying gross sin. That means where you don't want to be corrected.
Right.
So it goes into gross sinning. And that's called iniquity because you start to practice it.
Yeah.
And then what iniquity is, y'all, we're not going to go into it. We're just going to give you the scripture. All of Ezekiel 18 chapter, the whole chapter, is iniquity. And it explains why it's iniquity because it goes into the law. If a man goes into and do this, this is what it is. But if his son won't do that, the son can't be punished for what the father do. The son or the daughter is only punished through the flesh, not the soul, because that individual has to stand in judgment day. Like your parents, if one of them a crack addict and the other one a heroin addict, it's going to cause problems for that flesh of that baby. And a lot of times we call it hereditary. But the soul don't have no hereditary corruption. It's immortal. It stays perfect. The only way it can get into corruption is if you teach it the law of the flesh. And you start to dream about what the flesh likes. You start to think about the flesh like. Every time you see a woman, you can't keep clothes on them in your mind. If you see a dog or something, and then your mind goes there, wonder what it'd be like to be with one of them. That's corrupt flesh. And your mind is starting to tamper with that or go those ways. That's what make change of the countenance of your flesh because your soul gonna tell you, that was dead wrong. Y'all think R. Kelly don't know it was wrong what he was doing on that film footage with that youngin? Doing all manner of things that he wouldn't want nobody to do to his daughter, like pee on him. And you film that for what? Well, you filming it to get better?
Right.
Or if you filming it, why ain't you took that film to the police station and say, this me? Lock me up from this. Or are you trying to get better at it?
Yeah.
Was it enough foam on that child?
Oh,
and
no.
you saying maybe I should have drank OE
Oh no.
or some Camo.
Camo.
Some of that hard 30, it got more alcohol in it than a fifth of Hennessy. Or you looking at it from that perspective, why do you still have it and viewing that unless you're now trying to transform your soul into believing that was right what I did?
Exactly.
Like some of these camps out here that teach you can rape a 12-year-old girl.
Stop the madness.
And these are Israelites that's teaching this madness.
Teaching it.
A 12-year-old, you can have your way. Apparently you ain't never read what happened to Dinah and what Simeon and Levi did.
Right.
You must not have a clue. You must not have a clue about what David's son that they had different mamas did to the one brother Absalom. His sister born from the same mama, what that one brother did that had a different mama. Raped his sister. What happened to him? Vengeance was taken. Because he let what he thought was inheritance go in there and do something wicked. No, his spirit told him. You know why we know his spirit told him? Because soon as Absalom rolled up on him when he was drinking with his partner, first his partners disappeared. You know, like you see the hitman coming.
Right.
And you disappear. You know he ain't here for me.
Right.
But so I got to get away from this individual. All his friends disappeared and he was standing there by himself. And Absalom had that sword. You know why I'm here? Because the Most High repay you to your face.
That's right.
He knew why Absalom was there. That sobered him up real quick. Took that smile and turned it upside down.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
bro.
he must have showed his friends the video.
Oh, look, he must have because look, they knew what the deal was. They got ghosts because only one of them killed the perpetrator. Y'all, just like, I'm gonna say we're gonna move on, Jeffrey Dahmer. He ate up and killed all them people. His first victim that he killed, he beat him with a weight, a barbell. How he was put to death by an individual that's on death row or on life with no parole. That same individual, a spirit said, this is an evil man because what he started doing in jail, Jeffrey Dahmer, is taking a piece of chicken and putting ketchup on it and acting like it was the thumb he used to eat. And that individual sitting there, he said, you wicked, I'm going to get you. So don't know how the guards left him on detail with them. But guess how Jeffrey Dahmer died? He got beat with a weight. And his other buddy got beat too. They was buddies talking about their crime. So the Most High repay you back to your face. It's not karma, it's righteous judgment. So that when he seen that weight coming finna hit his forehead, he knew that individual that he killed, that flashed back in his mind. So he knows why he's going to judgment day. Our God don't punish you without you knowing why you're coming to judgment day. It ain't no happenstance. It ain't I got caught up in this. You will find out on judgment day because he's going to flash it in front of your face. This why you here. And you know why you here. Let's get some more. That's it on that. So we got infirmity. So we're doing sin, iniquity. No, let's get to sin. Give me that 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Because this is iniquity practice. If you die believing this, you let your flesh allow you to die believing this, saying, well, you got to die from something. Well, everybody gonna die from something.
Right.
You just better make sure that something ain't on this felony list. We just read that felony list in Ezekiel 18, the whole chapter, y'all, for iniquity, practice sin. That's what iniquity is. And 1 Corinthians 6 and 9 is going to explain to us what that felony list is. You cannot be on that felony list and die on there with no shame, with no repentance. I'm not saying if you get on there you can't get off. I'm saying if you say, well, it is what it is. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. That mindset and die on this felony list. Get some more.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9.
What it say there?
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh?
So the first thing we see is unrighteousness. And it's going to explain what unrighteousness is. Go ahead.
Be not deceived.
Be not what?
Deceived.
Don't fool yourself. Don't let your flesh fool your spirit. Right. Go ahead.
Neither fornicators.
Neither what?
Fornicators. Nor idolaters. Nor adulterers.
Yes, sir.
Nor effeminate.
Yes, sir.
Nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
Yes, sir.
Nor thieves. Nor covetous.
Yeah.
Nor drunkards. Nor revelers. Nor extortioners.
Nor what?
Extortioners. Shall inherit the kingdom of Yahweh.
Shall inherit. So that's future tense. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when it says shall, that's giving you a chance to get off the list. Y'all understand? It's giving you a shot. He's a merciful God. His majesty equals his mercy. They're equal. He knows what this dying flesh and how it puts pressure on you. But he's saying, your mind tell you that ain't wrong or that ain't right. What you do, what's wrong, you know. It's a safety net to do right. If you go down that dark alley, you know ain't nobody, God ain't calling you down that dark alley. You know for sure that ain't down there. And then when you go down Shalom, I bend my road. Yes, sir. You know that you ain't been called down that dark alley by the Most High. It may be 2 or 3 Negroes with a baseball bat, like Richard Pryor said, ready to get into your pocket. He wouldn't send you down there. At the beginning of that alley, you would feel it. Don't go that way. And you turn and go the other way and save your soul. Let's get some more.
Questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Is on the inside of every man the right and wrong?
Is there. You were equipped with that, just like your car. If you lose the manual to it, that car's still equipped to do what it's supposed to do. If you lose the manual, they got this other thing that they'll plug in there. And they say, this is why your check engine light is on. Because of P such and such 05. Bad sensor. Catalytic sensor.
Right.
Yes, sir. So it's still going to tell you, there's still ways to determine what's wrong. Just like if we lose our manual, it's still up here. We can still plug in and say, what's wrong? Because he said you can do it through prayer. Just lay down and ask me what's wrong with me. And he said, I will plug you in and tell you where your error's at to your face. Everybody that's sick know that they've already got. They feel it because he let you know first.
Yes, sir.
By the time you get to the doctor, you're at your wit's end. Ain't nothing working no more. You cannot put duct tape and Robitussin on everything. You're going to have to go to the doctor sooner or later. But they're going to tell you already because you're already trying things. You feel it. You feel when your heart flooded. You just don't want to tell nobody. Lord have mercy, am I having a heart attack? So when the fingers get burnt just a little bit, it could be doing anything. Automatically say, Lord, forgive me. What is this letting me know when that finger burnt? Why do you automatically think the lake of fire when that happens? There's a reason for that. You're going off point, and you have to shake it off and like, okay, what was I thinking at that point? Let me get rid of those thoughts.
Boy,
You hear what I'm saying?
every time I get chest pain now,
Well, look
I start
here.
repenting.
You better start immediately. Because when you get to the doctor, it could be too late.
It
Then.
might be.
Let's get some more. Where you at, Zed? You finished that 1 Corinthians 6 and 9?
How far are you going?
Go to all of them.
Oh, okay. We were on verse 11.
Yes, sir.
And such were some of you.
And such was what?
Some of you.
Uh-huh.
But ye are washed.
But we are what?
Washed.
Uh-huh.
But ye are sanctified. But ye are justified in the name of the Lord Jesus.
Uh-huh.
And by the Spirit of our power. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient.
Uh-huh.
All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any.
So it says all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. Meaning you may not get to understanding that day. You know it's wrong, but you got to keep working to explain to yourself why it's wrong. The doctor shouldn't have to tell you what's wrong. You should know what's wrong when you go in there so he understands you understand yourself. If you don't, he's going to start to give you every pill he's got to see if we can narrow down a point. And every one of them pills got a side effect.
Yes, sir.
We have to minimize the side effect before we go to the doctor.
Yes, sir.
You know what it is. I shouldn't have drank that. I shouldn't have ate that. Every time I get to, I'm going to get you sucker toe. When that toe swell up from gout, I can recall back. Because the problem is in good food and bad food.
Yes, sir.
I can't eat too much of good food.
Yes.
2 helpings of lima beans, I'm in trouble. Y'all think I just found that out yesterday? Or does the flesh say, go ahead, get one more and just try drinking a bunch of this and you'll counteract it? That's going to be a problem.
Drink a lot of water.
Boy, look, that's going to be a problem if it's already done set in.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to find a way around what you know already hurts you. Sometimes you have to throw in the white flag to win the war and lose a battle. You understand what I'm saying? And you may have to say, I got to give that up, 2 helpings of it.
Right.
Not saying 1 helping, but 2 helpings if it's going to cause you a problem. Yeah. If 2 beers make you pull your clothes off in the middle of King's Highway, drink 1 beer.
Drink 2 beers.
Go ahead. Go ahead, 2 by what you got?
Cheap date.
You say that's a cheap date. Go ahead.
Sister Sharon in the chat had a question a while back, and I'm just not asking. She's saying, speaking of the flesh, is cremation okay?
Is cremation okay? If cremation is understood that it's going back to the dust, does cremation, what does it turn the flesh into? See, because look, we never embalmed. Jacob was the first Israelite or the first individual we know that was embalmed, and it happened in Egypt. Is there a sin for embalm? No, all embalming do is just preserve dead flesh long enough for you to come 2 weeks later and see him in a casket, pay your respects. But before embalming, you got buried the same day you died.
That day.
So when your family found out you've been buried for 3 weeks, you've been buried for 2 months, word is just getting to you.
Right.
But now with embalming fluid, we can wait till Aunt Josie get here from Mississippi. You understand? What you got, Nerd?
James Brown for a whole year.
It was out before they put James Brown. You know why? Probate court. Do y'all know if he hadn't had no embalming fluid, what that body would have looked like after they try to open up the casket? It'd have been terrible, y'all. Look, that's why they don't let you do natural, like we used to do, anoint their bodies. They have to go in the ground that day. The funeral home will tell you, y'all got 2 hours with this process that y'all did, and then we're going to close the casket whether you like it or not, because this body's going to explode. You can't rub and prevent what's inside from exploding, want to get out. Not with all. No, the only thing going to stop that is embalming fluid, because they take all of the blood out. All of it out so that there's no dying blood that stinks. That's what stinks, dying blood.
Because the life is in the blood.
Because the life is in the blood. And I hope that answered that, sis, for you.
In Leviticus 17:11,
In the blood, that was told at the very beginning. That's why flesh and blood cannot enter into the kingdom. Flesh and spirit, but it's a different spirit. It's called the spirit or the flesh of immortality. It's the only thing can walk in that kingdom. Either it's going to be, if you're alive at the second coming, it's going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. Your skin going to go from corruptible. You could be 110 years old and you will watch that skin go back to the day you was born. A baby skin on 110-year-old. Now it matches with inside is the same as outside. Right. But y'all, we can't keep going for this internet stuff saying the new 50 is the new 30. No, it ain't. It's still 50. It may look 30, but it's still 50.
Yeah, I feel kind of rough for being 26.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro. Boy, you done had a rough one between 18
it's been rough,
yeah, yes, sir. Go ahead, bro. Where we at? We you got it from 15. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
Meats for the belly, and the belly for meat.
Yeah.
But Yahweh shall destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication.
What is the body not for?
Not for fornication. But the Lord and the Lord for the body.
Come on.
So we can hold there, y'all. Y'all read the rest of that, but we're going to go to infirmity. Because we got sin, iniquity, and infirmity. Infirmity will kind of come down to it's locked on you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. But make sure it dies in the best state that you can have it die. Free of most diseases. Like this is the term. You may hear somebody say, well, what did he die from? If they say natural causes, that means its flesh just rolled till it just was no more, but there was no sickness that brought it down. It's called natural causes. It means it reached its natural life for the natural. Not for the spirit, it's natural. It didn't have, like Moses. Moses was 120 years old, and he had 20/20 vision, and he had strength. That means he could still make children at 120. But because he went for that, and he thought that that could equal with his soul, he was mistaken. No, Moses, you said we. Right. I'm telling you, like Akshan said, he said that we, if you flip it over, it says me. That's what the Most High was telling him. Me. I do that. That's I'm right. Your God. I made your God to Pharaoh, not to the children of Israel. That's me. That's so right. Flip your we upside down, and you would have got it right. You understand what I'm saying?
But since you didn't.
But since you didn't, this is the punishment. That's it. But what the Most High always want to hear, I'm sorry. Even if it costs you what's dying. Throw that on the altar. It's already dying, but don't let your soul get there. That's right. I'm sorry this dying flesh led me that way. Let's get some more.
Infirmity, the quality or state of being infirm. The condition of being feeble.
The condition of being what?
Feeble.
That means weak, don't it?
Disease.
Disease. What else it say?
Disease.
Yeah. So that's infirmity. That's what this flesh was made. Weak and sick.
A personal failure.
And there's nothing you can do about flesh infirmity. Because it was set because we broke the law in our supernatural state. Right. That's where the problem comes from. That's why they had to get out of the garden. You can't be in righteousness and half of you like wickedness.
Boy, and you got to think about that because the Most High created Adam to live forever. And it didn't take them a half a day.
Boy, look here, before they got kicked out of there.
He said, woman, you gave me.
And look, but that was the test. To see if he would trust his own flesh like and not his soul. Better. Because his soul was the image of God. Right. But Eve was the image of him. Flesh of his flesh. Yep. Bone of his bone. But it has the Most High soul because Eve got the commandments. So that she could live. But what he did is he went to what he know was not supernatural. It was natural. So this is what we want y'all to do as well. Look up natural. We ain't got to do it now. Look up natural. Look up preternatural. P-R-E natural. Or T-E-R. And then supernatural. So preternatural means it's the beginning and the end. It's natural and supernatural mixed together. That's preternatural. That's how Adam was formed. He let the natural rule over the supernatural in his mind. And then try to blame it on The flesh. When all your soul, you can't blame your soul because I told both of y'all
Right.
what I require.
Right.
You listen to your flesh. And it's not like saying the woman was bad. What we're talking about, that was your rib. That came out of you that she was made from. That wasn't her rib. That was your rib. That was yours. He cut you open. He didn't cut her open. He cut you open and made you a woman from yourself.
Right.
If your mind was right, then your rib would have been right. But your mind let it leapfrog what God said. The Father's the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man. Man is the head of woman. Adam flipped that, and it was the Father the head of Christ, Christ the head of the woman, and the woman the head of the man. That's what took place in the garden.
So those wicked people, I'm sorry. So the man that calls a woman an evil, wicked woman, but he married her.
Well, that's what we're talking about. And when they say evil, they're not explaining what makes it evil,
Right.
because they always leave themselves out.
That's your portion.
See, and that's what you have to always look at, because they say the man that find a wife find a good thing.
Right.
So what turned it wicked? First do self-check. See, because it's going to always come down to self-check. Were you chasing her flesh?
Wow.
And you didn't see her spirit?
Wow.
That's what courting does. Courting allows for you. Jacob courted for 7 years before he touched Rachel. And then was really told you can't touch her because you got to touch Leah. That's who you married publicly. We ain't had a ceremony for Rachel yet. Give her her week. Touch her for 7 weeks who you legally married. And then we'll let you touch Rachel. And then he worked 7 more for her. Y'all understand this? These men were understanding. They girded the loins of their mind. They weren't just ready to jump into it. Isaac was a 40-year-old virgin. Y'all understand? Till Rebecca came back. And then he had to wait a little longer till she reached the age that she was supposed to, where he could spread his skirt over her. Jacob and Esau weren't born till Isaac was 60. Let's get some more. We're going into now the causes of infirmity, the wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha. I tell you first, let's get the law. Deuteronomy 23:2. And I just want to run this, y'all, so we can kind of understand when we go into the wisdom of Solomon. It'll help you understand the law must always be put forth, and then we go into the statutes and judgments that explain it. 23, and because this is what the behavior causes for what we're dealing with only on this subject matter. Being born, because this is what happened that caused the death in the garden. Mm-hmm. It was a legal knowing. And whenever you see know, it has 2 minutes to bring into the knowledge of or sexual intercourse. It's going to be righteous or it's going to be unrighteous intercourse. And if you know unrighteous intercourse, you're heading down the road for trouble. Righteous intercourse means that everybody gonna know we're legal, because we're going to have 2 witnesses and we're gonna do it in front of witnesses, minimum 2. So if the crowd say they ain't supposed to be doing that, those 2 could say yes they can. Yes they can. But if you got secret weddings, then you know what to expect, and you know. Mm-hmm. Because if we did know before we got in the Bible, if you've been with somebody for 30 years and you ain't got married, as soon as you set the wedding day, what did everybody say?
About time.
About time. Did they read something in the Bible, or do they know it's just coming from within, that it's about time you quit playing around? Mm-hmm. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Deuteronomy chapter 23, you said verse 2?
Read on down. Yeah, read on down.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
He that is wounded in the stones, or have his privy member cut off.
So he that has problems with siren children because he's wounded in the stone, or he's been castrated. Let's read some more.
shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
So we have the assembly and we have the congregation of the Lord. The assembly back in the day was the priests and their families. The congregation was the rest of Israel. So now we're saying that they can't come into the congregation like that because they have nothing to produce from the flesh, but we're going to get a little bit more. What else to say?
A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
So there's rules for that. Well, half of us or all of us in this room are probably bastards. And what I mean by that is through slavery, we don't know who our real daddy is. That's in the flesh, but spiritually, we don't know who our daddy is. Because we're going the opposite way of other daddies. What do Puff call himself? For what he call himself, say it louder. Puff Daddy. And when you chase that daddy, what you get? We hope that helped you understand, but keep reading there a little bit more.
An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Most High forever.
So what it's saying is there's a time limit that they can enter before they can come back into the fold, but we have to weed that out. Y'all look, we are all bastards in religion because I was raised Baptist. What was you raised? What about you, Zed? Who Catholic or Jehovah's Witness or whatever you was raised in, that was raised as a bastard. And I'm not talking about from physical mother and father, I'm talking about spiritual sense. Right. Because you got a different daddy. Yep. It's giving you different instruction. Like Catholicism, the Pope is your daddy and he's a sinner like you. He can't forgive your sins no more than some Hebrew Israelite telling you he third in command and you jump up and salute him. He's not your daddy. Right. 2 more chicken wings, he wouldn't have been able to get even in there. Because he's starting to be wider than he is tall. If you ever see it. So that shows some problems in his flesh. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So, but being in Christ allows us, being bastards, to come back into the fold with our soul. To get our soul and find out who's the daddy of our soul. That's what we have to understand. Who is the father of our soul, not of our flesh? Because Adam was the father of our flesh. And he died. What you got to say?
He adopts us back into the family of that Most High God.
If we get off that felony list. We have to stay off that felony list. What you got over there, OG?
Let's see. Verse 3. Explain to the assembly about how the Amorite and the Moabites came about.
Okay, very good. I'm glad you said that. See, this is what we're talking about. That there's a Moabite and an Ammonite came from Lot's daughters. See, because there's something in the Bible that ain't never happened, ever. A father on his own children, on his daughter, or and a mother on her own son. That's never ever going to be permitted. But like brothers and sisters, to get the world repopulated is a different thing. But once it get repopulated, then when more children, once sin come in, you have to back away. You have to put distance between it, or you're going to come up with a waterhead baby. So there's laws for how you do that, but there's no law. That's in Egyptology where the mother can have her son. And now you got talk out here now that they're calling other individuals father. Look, who tell me T.D. Jakes was saying what? Said Adam was the father of Eve. Well, that means he went into his daughter. And that's against the rules. Right. Y'all understand? And it's supposed to be a man of God that's telling you that, but he can't explain the difference in the spirit and the flesh because he chasing his flesh. Right. At whose house? Who his dad?
He did.
Yeah, that's who party he was at, wasn't it? Yeah. So y'all, what we're talking about now when we get back, because our subject is around Psalm 51, and the reason went to this law of bastard is because some are saying David was born a bastard. The same individual said that, said our Messiah was born a bastard. And those individuals that say that, those writings could be found in the Talmud and the Kabbalah. The holy books, so to speak, of those that call themselves Jews. Only in their books do they say those things, but it don't say it in our books.
Right.
So we're going to get to that to let you know that David was not the offspring of a bastard. Let's get some more of this, y'all. Where we at? We're in this Wisdom of Solomon. We're going to speed it up just a bit, y'all. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3. And we're going to pick it up where? Verse 10 through 19. Wisdom of Solomon, y'all. If y'all got this, get in your smartphones.
Start that at 9.
We can start it at 9, yes, sir. And y'all read also Wisdom of Solomon 4. It goes into more detail, but we just going to hit it right in his mouth where it started.
What is the first chapter?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3. And we're going to start about verse 9. We got any questions out there too, Bob?
No further, so far so good.
Tell you what, go on at verse 1.
So good.
Yeah, see, look, I can see, you know, I'm looking at, you know what I heard? I heard,
And I
You know, I'm like, oh, we're going to have to bag this up. Go ahead, bro. That was some serious, I tell you what, while we there, just read the last 2 verses of chapter 2.
Yeah.
Just the last 2 verses. We ain't gonna bag it up yet. We just gonna read the last 2 verses of chapter 2 so we understand where we at. Because that's what we have to return to live with God. We can't live with him in this dying flesh. Corruption can't be around righteousness. No more than the devil can be around. If you keep focusing on, we have to be careful who we pray for. We have to examine it if they're believers. Because if we don't, then we cannot tell the devil, you know, we have to pray for the devil too then. And if we can't pray for the devil, it's going to have to be explained why not. So that means you have to get your understanding together. Because the devil is still in immortality. He can't die physically. He don't have a grave marker. There's nowhere you can find, here lies Lucifer after he failed.
Right.
And here's his buddies, the demons. Let's get it, y'all. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23 and 24. And then we're going to jump right down into chapter 3. Let's get it. Chapter 2, verse 23 and 24.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23.
How we looking? We good? Let's roll.
For Yahweh created man to be immortal.
What did he create man to be?
To be immortal.
Immortal means he shouldn't die. Let us get that understood. That's what we were created to be. Never to die. Go ahead. What else to say?
And made him to be an image of his own eternity.
An image of his eternity. That means he's the Ancient of Days. That means no day you can put on him. The days we know, day 1 through 7, he's ancient to those days. Let's get some more.
Nevertheless.
Never the what?
Nevertheless. Through envy of the devil came death unto the world. And they that do hold of his side do find.
So we see the devil after he was cast down. And that's what we chasing. He teaching us from his fall. And that's how he tricks us. He deceives us into believing this is going to come back to life if you do certain things. If you throw salt over your shoulder, this is going to come back to life. If you go see Miss Rudolph, this is going to come back to life. No, it ain't. If you think we can eat the perfect diet and you think this is going to come back to life, it preserves it. It makes it last a little bit longer. Like we didn't have refrigerators, so we used to salt our food and hang it in what's called the smokehouse. It will preserve, but over time that preservation still goes away. That's what we're technically doing now. Y'all, we're putting it in a house of preservation, but it's still gonna die. We can extend that, which is always a good thing. But there's nothing we can eat right now to restore our soul, because there was nothing we ate in the garden, physical. There was no fruit. There was no apple. The word apple ain't even in Genesis. In all of the chapters of Genesis, the word apple ain't even in there. But yet, they keep deceiving us like this Apple iPhone with a bite out of the apple, because it's the tree of good and evil. You can find what you're looking for. Where do Big Mama live? Take me to her house. Big Mama's house is on the right. You have reached your destination. But also this can have an enemy find your house. Your enemy's house is on the right. He should be on the front porch barbecuing when you pull up. Let's get some more, y'all. And that's where they find that, just let the porch loose.
Yeah.
Supposed to be on the back porch barbecue.
Right, you on the front.
Go ahead. Let's get it, y'all.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 1.
Yeah, what it say?
But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of Yahweh.
The flesh of the righteous.
The souls of the righteous
Okay.
are in the hand of Yahweh.
Yeah.
And there shall no torment touch them.
But that soul has to be righteous, and no torment, meaning the lake of fire, should touch them. Go ahead.
In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die,
Talking about the righteous.
and their departure is taken for misery.
Well, he died believing in God. He died, so they take that for misery. But we're not talking about dying flesh was already dying.
Exactly.
You champion that like we lost.
Right.
Because everybody you know been dead since Adam. So why are you looking at us like we lost something? We told we gonna die. Get some more.
And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace.
They are at what?
In peace.
Uh-huh.
And though they for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality.
You see what their hope is full of? Immortality. So when Christ went to the cross, he said, if you lay your life down for me, he said, you ain't got to worry about it. Don't, as long as we don't take our own life. They have to take your life for your belief in Messiah, who will give you life again. He's the first resurrection. If your flesh is trusting anything else, if your flesh is trusting in an individual that calls himself a general and third in command, and then some white man show up at your camp and you get out of your war clothes,
Right.
and now you got on your interview clothes and you sitting here with your hands crossed like this, you won't tell us you the third in command, but when he come in there, you look like you are applying for a job.
But now if the white man is supposed to be the enemy, wouldn't he be wearing his war clothes? That was the enemy going to war.
Oh, boy, look, it don't make no sense, bro. Ain't no he trying to explain what it letting you to say. If you chase flesh, this is how your champion's going to end up.
Right.
On the interview. Let's get some more.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And having been a little chaste, they shall be greatly rewarded.
See, just a little chastisement be greatly rewarded. Because the Most High love a broken and contrite spirit. Right. It'll say, I'm sorry, Lord, and I'm ready to take my punishment.
That's right.
But the flesh don't want that. If loving you is wrong, what they say? I don't want to be right. Y'all hear that? I don't care. You have Negroes saying, I know he may be wrong, but I got to ride with him right or wrong. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're sealing your deal.
That's it.
Right.
You're saying, I have such respect to this person. If he's wrong, I'm still with him.
Right.
Even if it takes you to lake fire.
Look, man, I just killed your mama and them, but she wouldn't feed me, bro. I'm with you.
I'll die for you, dog.
I'll die for you, dog, man.
will.
Mama had to go because she could have fixed you a plate. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's get some more.
I know how you enjoy them piggies.
Yeah. Your mama holding back.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Continuation of 5.
Yeah.
For Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself.
Yeah.
As gold in the furnace has he tried them and received them as a burnt offering.
See how he received them when somebody else take your life for the word of God. You're considered a burnt offering. It ain't saying put yourself on no fire. There's many variations of what a burnt offering or a sacrifice is. But you'll have these Negroes that then turn from the truth and now trying to condemn the Bible and try to show these things to a child under age or something, you ain't gonna read about no child being sacrificed but to the devil. The Most High don't ask you to sacrifice your child and put it on the altar. See, they try to make Isaac like he was 5 years old, or the Messiah. Isaac was 37. He could make his own decision. He's a grown man. And the Messiah was 33 years and a half and 6 months when he got on that cross. Those are grown men, ain't they? Grown men make their own decision. Like OG say, boys do what?
Men do what they want, boys do what they can.
Men do what they want, boys do what they can. It's night and day, y'all. Don't let that boy work get you. Go ahead.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine.
What shall they do?
They shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble.
Right.
They shall judge the nation.
They shall judge the nation. Now, wait a minute. Folks read Matthew 7 and say, you can't judge me. I can judge the matter, but I can't throw you in the lake of fire. I can't judge you to condemnation.
Right.
But I can judge you. If that's the case, if that ain't the case, then who can say anything to anybody about sin?
Right.
Man, miss me with that. What you mean I can't have this 2-year-old baby? You judging me.
Yes.
No, I'm not judging you. I'm giving you a warning. So that you don't face judgment for this. Go ahead. What else was said?
But Brother
They-
Dan,
Yes, ma'am.
isn't it a difference between righteous judgment?
That's it?
Well, that's what we're talking about. The deal is, though, righteous judgment don't allow you to put nobody in condemnation. That's what righteous judgment. You still don't have that power. You can tell them, whoa. You can blow the trumpet, whoa. The only thing it says that is if you're telling them to stay away from that crime and you're doing the very crime, then he say you're missing judgment. You got a mote in your eye. If you rob in the bank with a pistol and they fill out a false application to get a loan, what's different about it? The bank's still being held up, ain't it?
Right.
Let's get some more.
They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever.
And see, they're judging and the Lord is reigning because they're doing righteous judgment now, like you're saying. So they know how to tell people this is how you break that down, because everything is from righteousness. It's not from disobedience. And our children have to grow up in the kingdom and learn this with no sin. That's why there'll be some left alive at the second coming who never tasted physical death. They'll go back to like Adam was before he sinned. And they have to produce children like Adam was so that they can live for 1,000 years. That's why in the kingdom, in Christ's reign, they live for 1,000 years. One day. After Adam did what he did, it was cut off. We couldn't get to that one day. The oldest man, 969. But it ain't one day.
Right.
Let's get some more.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect.
See, he have care for his saints, but that means you got to be following his rules. Go ahead.
But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imagination,
To their own imagination. That's what you think the law is saying.
Right.
Go ahead.
which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Most High. For whoso despises wisdom and nurture, he is miserable.
What is he?
He is miserable.
And what does miserable like?
Company.
Company. The devil is miserable. He likes company. He knows where he going. You ain't got to repeat it to him. The problem is he say, do you want to ride with me to hell? I'm needing some company.
Right.
I know I'm going there, but I need a passenger.
We gonna kick it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You better judge that matter before you get in that car.
Yeah, you better get in that car.
Get out the car though.
Yeah, because you ain't going to be able to tell him, let me out the car door. He said, you know I was a snake when I got in here. Now these doors ain't going to unlock. And you just pull it on the handle, trying to scratch the windows down. They ain't coming down. Let's get some more. Go ahead.
And their hope is vain. Their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. Their wives are foolish, and their children wicked. Their offspring is cursed. Wherefore, blessed is the barren that is undefiled, which hath not known the sinful bed. She shall have fruit in the visitation of souls.
So when you hear people saying or using that Greek term, that Greek orgy term, polygamy or polygyny, however they word it, it's in Greek. You can't say it in Hebrew. If you would, you'll stop saying it in Greek and saying, I speak Hebrew. Speak Hebrew and say polygamy in Hebrew. You can't. It's two different things from the law of the Bible. So their offspring, because they're trying to promote this, blessed is the barren that never had a child, versus their laws that they give. If you don't find a husband, you got to be a husband, you got to be the wife. Even if he got 10, you got to join up, or God is going to punish you. That ain't in the Bible. The Bible, what we just read, and we read in our virgins for the king, or handmaids for the Lord, meaning they never had a husband. Ain't thinking about a husband. They serve in the temple. They will never know a man. So how do you use that law against them? You better come out of that temple and belong to somebody. We ain't reading that. See, those are threats to make somebody join your cult. That Greek cult called polygyny or polygamy, meaning Greek orgy, man with many loose women's. Let's get some more.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
And blessed is the eunuch.
Blessed is the who?
The eunuch.
The eunuch means he can't have no physical children.
Right.
Go ahead. Why is he getting a blessing? Now, this makes you think, well, it says be fruitful and multiply. He can't be fruitful. If he can't produce children, yes, he can, spiritually first. See, if Adam had been produced spiritual children first, these flesh children that we are the descendants of, we wouldn't be feeling this pain. Go ahead, bro. What else it say?
And blessed is the eunuch, which with his hands has wrought no iniquity, nor imagined wicked things against Yahweh. For unto him shall be given a special gift.
What kind of gift?
A special gift of faith.
That's a special gift of faith. Paul had that gift. The Messiah had that gift. It's a special gift of faith. I'm not thinking about spiritual children. I'm thinking about spiritual children. I'm thinking, that what this word I give out is going to produce spiritual children, not flesh children. Because all of our flesh children are getting hung up, especially coming through slavery. We're getting hung up. What is the most confusing day in America?
Father's
What day?
Father's Day.
Father's Day. Who your dad?
I'm the mommy and the daddy.
Look, we had to go on a white man show, Maury Povich.
Yeah.
The only white man named Maurice.
Everybody the daddy.
And we have to go to him to tell us who our daddy is.
Right. Well, they got Karamo now, too.
Who is this?
This brother that's a... Yeah.
Oh, okay, same thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, let's get some more. You in verse 14.
Verse 14.
Just read it again.
Yeah. And blessed is the eunuch, which with his hands has wrought no iniquity, nor imagined wicked things against Yahweh. For unto him shall be given the special gift of faith.
Y'all see that the special gift of faith, you will be like Christ. You will be like Paul, who patterned himself after Christ after the road to Damascus. And wise young servant, I kind of mentioned some things you asked about the voice in Acts, but I'm going to give you a few scripts before at the end of the day for a little bit of homework, and then it'll be explained what's called contradictions in the Bible. Some say they heard a voice, but that'll be cleared up. And I'm going to give out the scripture for those, as well as Daivd number in Israel, did Satan do it, or did the Most High number, as well as did the cock crow twice before Peter denied him 3 times, where Matthew, Luke, John say crow once. So just going to give you that at the end of the class, and we'll be able to discuss that. But there's no contradiction in the Bible. It's just from the perspective and the subject matter of the Bible. You can't go outside and look at nowhere else. You have to deal with the Bible because there's no contradiction. It's just how it was recorded. But what we always look at is the event. If the event changed, if he had not denied him 3 times, but we're going to get into that at the end of the class if we have time. Go ahead. But wise young servant, I just wanted to let you know I want to go in detail with that because I just kind of threw a few scripts out there and didn't go into explanation. But and just let me say this too. I used to work nights in data processing, so always had time to study at night. So it wasn't like no angel came to me and tapped me and said, you're going to be the one that explained everything to everybody. No, it wasn't like that. I went over what's on the internet called 100 contradictions of the Bible. I didn't do 59 of them. I didn't do 75 of them. I didn't do 99 of them. I checked 100 of them all. So now it's easier to understand what's a contradiction of the Bible. What you think, I should say, what you think is a contradiction of the Bible, that it's not, because it's foolproof. It's pure. Pure means free of contradiction, don't it? Mm-hmm. Y'all understand it? Let's get some more.
For unto him shall be given the special gift of faith and an inheritance in the temple of the Most High, more acceptable to his mind.
What is it more acceptable to?
To his mind.
That means to his soul. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
For glorious is the fruit of good labors, and the root of wisdom shall never fall away. As for the children of adultery, they shall not come to their perfection. And the seed of the unrighteous, and the seed of the unrighteous bed shall be rooted out.
Okay.
For though they live long, yet shall they be nothing regarded, and their last age shall be without honor. Or if they die quickly, they have no hope, neither comfort in the day of trial. For horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation. So now it's saying generation. So it's saying if you were born of this, and then you teach your children to be born of this, and they keep following that path, there's no hope. Because all of us are in that bed right now, and we ain't got a clue. You don't know if the slave master been in there. And she was married. Your mama was a slave, married to your daddy who was a slave, and then a slave master come in there. Is that the child's fault? No, we have to go to the next generation. That child just can't follow them same steps. That's where Ezekiel 18 come in. If the father have a son, don't do what he's saying. Is it counted for him for righteousness? Yes, it's counted for him for righteousness. So it's not saying all or nothing, y'all. You can't help how you were conceived. Your parents didn't ask you first. If you had a choice, if they could get you before the conception, who do you want to be your parent? These two over here that seem to be handling their business, or these two right here that like to get it in at the drive-in and at the movie theater? What you think that conception would have said? Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, give me the money.
So look, we're not. You want to be on the safe side. Everybody would have chose that. So we didn't have no dog in that fight, so to speak, until we get to the age of accountability. And you say, oh, this is how I came into this world. Well, I'm going to repeat that. Then that's when it's saying, because it keeps saying the unrighteous, I want y'all to think about, it's not saying that act could be corrected. Like David, that child had to die between him and Bathsheba. But David said, I should do what? Go where? To him. He can't come back to me. So where is David going? Is David saying he going to the lake of fire? If he's saying he going to the unrighteous? No. That child was innocent. It didn't ask. If it had asked it, look, your daddy had war. King David didn't send him to war. And your mama right here, he didn't peeked over the wall and saw her cleansing herself. Who do you want to be the son of, this or that? That child didn't get to make that decision. So the Most High don't put that punishment on the flesh. Only thing get put on that flesh of that child is the dying flesh. That child had to die because David's a king. And if the king started, what do you think his servants going to do? Why do you think we call Trump the orange pervert? The orange pervert said it's okay to grab a woman. They like it.
The tic-tac master.
The tic-tac master. He said, just pop a few tic-tacs in your mouth and grab them on the elevator. Just grab them where their legs meet together at. They love it. This is what this king taught, the orange pervert. So y'all understand what I'm saying? And now he's the king. What is that telling everybody else to do?
Tic-tac.
Tic-tac. Go ahead. Where you at, Zed? You finished that?
Yeah, we finished that.
So y'all, we didn't want anybody to think that we're saying if that's how you found out you were birthed, the law will straighten that generation out for you. You just got to pass it on to your children and make sure you don't produce in like manner. The buck stop with righteousness. And then that's why he said, we're going to get into a few scriptures, he said, though you were bastards. See, we was bastards first spiritually. Baptists. Catholics. Man-made religion.
Right.
Whose doctrine, like Freemasonry or Jehovah's Witness, who their founders were Freemasons, who say that the devil is God. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Where you want to go first, Timothy?
Yeah, we're going to 1 Timothy 2 because we're going to show that sin that happened in the garden can be corrected if both parties come back spiritually and don't chase each other's flesh. Because it's going to go back to the garden. Ain't nothing new under the sun. He the same yesterday as what?
Today.
He don't change. Laws don't change. Priesthood changes, just change back to the priesthood it was that Adam was under.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, and we're going to start the reading in verse 12.
Yes, sir. Y'all can pick it up after that, y'all. I mean, 1 through, but we're going to hit it right in the mouth.
1 Timothy 2 and 12.
Start at verse 11.
Verse 11.
Yes, sir.
Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
So first we have to do is, does that mean shut up, heifer? Don't say a word.
No.
Because we got too many scripts that say men be in silence. So first thing we have to understand is, what is the silence? What does it mean? Does it mean just shut the hell up? Then that means you're going to have to become an expert in sign language. Because the minute she do like this, you got to, shut the hell up. You wicked woman. Y'all understand what it would have to be a part of? But silence is different things. It tells us in 1 Corinthians 14. If anybody speak in tongues and there's no interpreter, you have to hold your peace so that explanation can go out. It don't mean you didn't do it. It just means the devil may be trying to get some information and make you tarnish the gift that you have of tongues. That's what the devil is out for. If I can taint your gift, if I can make your gift corruptible, you won't look at it as a gift no more. Let's get some more.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man.
Let's stop it right there. To teach nor usurp authority over the man. That's it, y'all. It ain't never saying nothing different. It's saying you cannot leapfrog the order. The Father's head of Christ. Christ is head of man. Man is head of the woman. And what we mean is who the authority go through if somebody comes. It's a strength mode. You see, the Father is more powerful than anybody. Second after that is the Messiah. After that is man. After that is woman, because she's called the what vessel?
Weaker vessel.
The weaker vessel. If you put weak in front of you, and we're not talking about just because you read this like this, what we're talking about is you understand the hierarchy.
That's it.
If you pawn the TV to pay the cable bill, you have to let her pay the bills. You understand what I'm saying? Because you still ain't watching TV.
Right.
Let's get some more. Go ahead, Zay. Read that again.
I'm out there.
Yeah. You was reading that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Verse 12.
Y'all look alike, you know.
Uh-oh.
We look because we one body. We're starting to look alike. Don't we look alike?
Yeah.
Well, I have been around.
Go
since I
ahead.
was about 14.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived. But the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
What shall she be saved in?
In childbearing. If they continue in faith.
What they got to continue in?
In faith and charity and holiness with sobriety.
So that error can be fixed easily. It's just both of us have to understand the Lord's order.
Right.
That don't mean she can't tell him nothing. She's just watching your back end. If you didn't I tell you to shut the hell up? But I'm trying to tell you, Leroy finna kill you. He behind you with a knife. Shut your mouth. Pow!
Uh-oh.
Woman, why you didn't say nothing? Too late then. So y'all, but if you Google right now, every word the Bible says silence. See how many times it says for man and how many times it says for woman. It says to usurp authority. What it's talking about is how Aunt Esther does Woodrow. Usurping authority. Give me that Bible. You don't know what you're talking about. And she started going through it. Y'all understand? But it says women are what they are to teach. Who they are to teach. Y'all, that's in the scripture. So if they got to keep silent, then they will never know what their responsibility is. What up, Tom? Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
I think we're going to Psalm 51.
Yes, sir. So we're going to the heart of the matter, y'all. We just have to explain and get everybody's mind in sync with why now we're going to what did David really say? Did he say I was born in sin? Let's get it.
The book of Psalms, chapter 51, and we'll start the reading in verse 1.
So we'll see if his thought process was spiritual.
Then straighten your mind out.
So where that? Huh?
It done went in your shirt.
Okay,
Drop it on the floor.
Thank you, nerd. Boy, you can see. Boy, you got 20/20? I see that. They just need them glasses for close up, huh? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look there, nerd. What they doing on the moon? No, just checking your vid. Go ahead. Let's get it, y'all.
You ready?
Yeah.
The book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse 1.
What it say?
Have mercy upon me, O Yah, according to thy loving kindness.
You see how he said the mercy had to be according to your loving kindness, not according to mine. I need your mercy to work this out. Go ahead.
According unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgression.
What's the first thing he asking for? To do what?
Blot out my transgression.
What are transgressions?
The sin.
Of the what?
Transgression of the law.
Let's read some more.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgression, and my sin is ever before me.
He said, I ain't trying to hide this, Lord. You got me. I'm caught.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's it.
But sorry means it won't be a repeat performance.
Right.
Because do we have a repeat performance with another David and Bathsheba type of situation? Do we? From David, ever. Let's read some more.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Against thee, thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest.
See, be clear. So if you acknowledge your transgression, which you have to know the law first, then his judgment becomes clear to you. And you understand and you realize it and you say just like we say. I didn't understand it then, Mama, when you used to whoop me all the time for being bad, but I understand it perfectly because those who didn't get whoopings are where? Or where else? Y'all, it filters down the same way. Let's get some more.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive.
So now this is the point right here. I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So if we're looking at this from the negative side, that means I was a born sinner. I came out of the womb ready to sin, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So that meant either my mama was a whore, or my mama was married and had sex with another man and produced me. Is this what David is saying? No, because he's acknowledging his transgression. He's just letting it be known. I understand why I chased my flesh on this, because that's all I saw was flesh. You know why? Because they told him. He said, who is that naked taking a bath, purifying themselves that I ain't supposed to be peeping at?
Right.
That I ain't supposed to be peeping at. They say that's Uriah the Hittite's wife. One of the 37 men, your top soldiers. He's one of, when you look in 1 Chronicles, you'll see Uriah the Hittite. Top soldier. And her daddy is this great man in Israel. Did David say, ooh, boy, let me do this. I ought to be ashamed of myself. Or did he say, bring her to me?
Gotta have it.
Got to have that. My eyes done seen it. My flesh
Right.
will not rest now. So he's acknowledging that. I did that. I was shapen in iniquity, meaning that I'm after Adam. I'm not after Christ at this point.
Right.
I'm doing how I was born after my father because they were shapen in iniquity. The devil came to her and said, what did God tell you? He said, you can know from this way. No. I need you to know from this way so you experience what it's like to have fun.
Right.
To say, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. That's what the devil convinced her of. And she listened to a different head over her. So now she usurps that authority and puts it on Adam. And Adam, who done fell into weakling status, listen. Know why? Because his flesh is trembling. It wants to do it. But Adam knew the commandments. And we're going to get into a little bit of Genesis to explain the curse. Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 6. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward part.
Y'all see what truth is to be desired? Go ahead.
And in the hidden part, thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean.
Yes, sir.
Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O Yah, and renew a right spirit within me.
Yes, sir.
Cast me not away from thy presence.
Y'all, ain't that what we fear the most?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit.
Yeah.
Then will I teach transgressors thy way, and sinners shall be converted unto thee.
So y'all see, he was just saying the shaping in iniquity, I went after like my foreparents did in the garden. So now one would say, this is what we have to deal with. His mother and his father. If you think that his mother conceived him in sin, then there's an illegal bed activity, and we're going to go to the scriptures because technically there's only two scriptures that mentions David's mom. We read about his daddy, but y'all, it's the same way, just like they put that bag on Joseph, and they put that bag on Mary. They're putting the bag on David, who was the foreshadowing of the Christ to come. They put it on his mom and his daddy. But we're going to see, just like Joseph was a righteous man the same way Jesse was, we're going to read about him, and then we'll read what says about David's mama. But David's mama is not mentioned like Mary is mentioned, so we don't get it twisted and think David was going to be the Messiah. Because already Psalm 51 excludes David.
Right.
He's out. Even though he never did that again, he's out. Let's get some more.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O Yahweh, thou Elohim of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Master, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of Yahweh are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. O Yah, thou wilt not despise.
So y'all see what a sacrifice can be? A broken spirit. Know I done wrong, and I'm shamed for doing wrong. And my shame starts at the top.
Yeah.
I've shamed the Heavenly Father. I've got the covenant. I've got Romans 3, 1 through 3. I got Romans 9 chapter. To Israel were given the law, statutes, judgment, and covenant, and this what I do? Not only this, but this Hittite who was protecting me with his life, who wouldn't go home to his wife because he didn't feel I would be safe.
Exactly.
I shortchanged him. I cut his throat. Y'all understand? So I deceived the Most High. You didn't put me in charge for that. You didn't put me in charge for that. So I'm sorry for that. Forgive me for that first. I can't apologize to Uriah because where he at? Let's get some more. But we're going to see some scripts that going to let you know that David wasn't born that way because of who it's pointing to. Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
Do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offering and whole burnt offering. Then shall they offer bullocks upon the altar.
See, because he's saying you can't give a beast and you won't correct yourself. That means you just got a lot of beasts and cover up your sins.
Right.
If I got 13 bullocks, that means I get 13 sinnings from that perspective. But I'm still doing the same thing.
Right.
Now what do I have but no more bullocks?
That's it.
I ain't got no more money. Now I'm the prodigal son.
In a habit of sinning.
And a habit of sinning. So now let's get this next one, y'all. We're going to roll. Huh? We're going to 2nd Ezra, y'all, and then I'm going to explain. We're going to get into the scripts where David mama is mentioned and his daddy is mentioned so that we get it clear that when it say my mama and my daddy conceived me in sin. Guess what? The only 2 books say that because the Bible don't show Jesse and David's mama into no undefiled bed activity. But guess what 2 books does? The Talmud and the Kabbalah. Because it names a lady that ain't even mentioned in the Bible. It's just like it mentions Adam's first wife was not Eve, but Lilith. That ain't in none of the writings of the Bible, but in the Talmud and the Kabbalah. Y'all understand what we're saying? Let's get some more. Where we at? We're 2nd Ezra? Y'all, we may not run through that all for time's sake because I want to get through this, y'all. We really need to get through this. So 2nd Ezra, we'll pick it up. What did I have? All?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll pick it up at let me see. 2nd Ezra. Let's pick it up at 33.
What chapter?
3.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what. Hold on with that chapter. Okay.
Look at me.
37 verses.
Well, you got all them circles.
Let's
Let's start at 3, y'all, and we'll read down and we'll jump when we need to. But this explains it. Let's just go and run it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Them 2 put us over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They did.
2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 3.
Yeah.
And my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words.
Where you at?
In the 3rd.
Okay. Yeah.
Said to go to 3.
Okay, yeah. You
We can
good?
start
You
at
good?
one.
No. Go
Yeah,
ahead. One. Go ahead. Go ahead. 1.
2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 1.
What it say?
In the 30th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babylon, and lay troubled upon my bed, and my thoughts came up over my heart.
So he's going over it in his mind, in his spiritual mind. Go ahead.
For I saw the desolation of Zion, and the wealth of them that dwelt at Babylon, and my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said, O Lord, who bearest rule, thou speakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandedst the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul.
So he gave Adam a body without soul because he's making him from the dust. Go ahead.
Which was the workmanship of thine hand. And didst breathe into him the breath of life. And he was made living before thee.
So now Adam became a living soul because he breathed into him his commandments.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And thou leadest him into paradise.
Where you lead him into?
Into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forth.
So the Garden of Eden was already made before the earth. It was already planted. The Garden of Eden is the city of righteousness. That's what New Jerusalem is, the same thing. And I saw New Jerusalem descending down. It had to be free of the stain of what Adam and Eve did. Nobody else could dwell in there until we get back the Adam-type people that was before they sinned, before they could walk through them gates. You cannot walk through them gates with the stain of Adam. How you gonna go in there with corruption? Would you put some small meat in your new refrigerator? Let's get some more.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed.
Who transgressed that?
He transgressed. And immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number.
So y'all see, Adam also transgressed because he gave Adam the commandment, and Adam was to give them to Eve. Why did Adam let her talk her into it? Because he was looking at her and his ears started wiggling. But he knew we ain't supposed to listen to that tree. Adam knew that he was told first. So even though it says Satan just got to her to convince her husband, that's all it was, but her husband still played a part. He's not guilty. He's not innocent in this, I should say. It's why these men who teach wicked women only read Genesis 3:16. See, you're supposed to be subject to me. But when it say Genesis 3:17, and the man, you, because you hard-headed, you were born in retirement, now you got to work. You're going to slave, you're going to sweat, you're going to hit them fields every day. Why don't they ever explain their punishment? You will never ever hear them say, I'm supposed to work. You know why? Because their doctrine now teaches, I got to cash her out, player. I get all these women so they take care of their work for me, so I won't have to do Genesis 3:17. I cash them out. Ain't that called P-I-M-P?
Yes, sir.
Put it in my pocket. Pimping. I'm pimping you women because I can't let y'all see my side of the curse, just your side. My side, if I recognize my side, that means I got to quit doing what I'm doing and hit them bricks. And I don't want to hit them bricks.
You need a brick shower.
Look, how do you starve a Hebrew man? Hide his food stamps in his work boots. See, he ain't gonna never look there. He'll pull out drawers, he'll dig in old pockets of coats. He'll look up under the step, but them work boots be right here and say, here's your money. And he'll never pick them up.
No, they dusty.
They dusty. Yeah, go ahead, bro. Let's get some more.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. And again in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyedest them. And it came to pass in every of them, that as death was to Adam, so the flood to thee.
So it don't matter. The flesh is still dying. You cannot live forever anymore. Adam messed that up.
Right.
Let's get some more.
Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah, with his household.
With his who?
With his household. Of who came all righteous men.
So Ham, Shem, and Japheth was righteous when they got on that ark. Anybody teaching that they were wicked when they got on that ark, or somehow Cain's line got on that ark, is going against what these scriptures say, because you want to make this lineage work for your program. That Cain is the son of the devil. It's the only way to work. But right here it say there was nothing unrighteous on that ark.
Right.
Clean animals was on there like they were supposed to be, and the unclean animals that we were not supposed to eat was on there to take care of our dirty work.
In the proper numbers.
And what was
With
it?
the proper numbers.
With the proper number. Absolutely. 7 pairs of the clean and 2 pairs of the unclean. So there was 2 pigs male and 2 pigs female, but 7 deer male and 7 female deer. So that the righteous would always outweigh the unclean. But now we eating up all the of the clean and throwing it away. Ain't no more nothing left but the unrighteous. So now we make delicatessens out of the unrighteous. Calamari and chitterlings. Escargot. Look, no, he don't mean that's a Seville going. No, escargot mean eating snail.
Right.
Let's get some more. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
And it happened that when they that dwelt upon the earth began to multiply, and had begotten many children, and were a great people, they began again to be more ungodly than the first.
See, because Noah gave Ham, Shem, and Japheth his law, statutes, and judgment. Ham was okay when he got off the ark. But Ham jumped back into the greatest crime of history. He uncovered Noah's nakedness. And if you don't understand why the Bible keeps using its own language like we started off, uncovering nakedness is not for your interpretation, it's for the Bible. And there's laws in Leviticus 18, Leviticus 20, that say if a man uncover his father's nakedness, he has slept with his father's wife. It said that in Leviticus 18. It said in Leviticus 20 and 11. It said in Deuteronomy 27:27. And then Habakkuk 2:15 say what Ham did. Woe to the man that give his neighbor the bottle to drink so he can uncover his nakedness. So Ham's first offspring was by his daddy's mama, and the offspring was named Canaan. Canaan just didn't show up out of nowhere.
Right.
But Farrakhan teaches that they looked at him like a homosexual act. No, that ain't what this Bible describes uncovering your father's nakedness. It said in first, what's that?
Some of the Christian churches say that too.
In First Chronicle, it say Reuben did that. He uncovered Jacob's skirt. It said in the testament of Reuben, he tell you what I did. 1 Corinthians 5 tell you, we ain't even heard it from Gentiles that a man should have his father's wife. That's where the term mother for unlawful carnal knowledge it came from. A person that goes into his mother, it's for unlawful carnal knowledge, meaning unlawful sexual intercourse. That's why we call them an MF.
Right.
That's what curse words are. It's not that you got a dictionary of curse word. This explains why you're an MF. So you don't get it twisted. So you don't become one. Let's get some more.
So that's where the Moabites came from.
Yeah, that's where they came from. But the difference was it was the father on daughters, which the same thing, because they did what first? They pulled Habakkuk 2:15. What did they put to his mouth?
Got him
Right.
drunk.
The bottle. And uncovered their mother's nakedness. She was only supposed to see their daddy naked, not his children.
So Ham did the same thing prior.
Prior, Noah was 600, so it may have not been his first wife. She could have died out. But the bottom line is he's married to her because each one of them had their own wife. Shem and Japheth didn't do it. They walked backward with it and covered up their father's naked. They covered whoever his wife was up and never looked at her. And these doctrines try to make it like Ham uncovered. Oh, he shamed his daddy. What did he do? Like just pull the covers up like this? What are you trying to do with this Vienna sausage? No, that wasn't it. It was way more wicked than that. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Verse 13.
Yeah. What you talking about, Emo? Go ahead. No. Okay, go ahead.
Now when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them, whose name was Abraham. Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou showedest thy will, and madest an everlasting covenant with him.
What kind of covenant?
An everlasting covenant. Promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed.
That's where we get into Romans 3, 1 through 3. We get into Romans 9. What advantage then hath the Jew? Deuteronomy 7. Let's get some more.
And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau, and so Jacob became a great multitude. And it came to pass that when thou ledest his seed out of Egypt, thou broughtest them up to the Mount Sinai, and bowing the heavens, thou didst set fast the earth, movest the whole world, and madest the deaf to tremble, and troublest the men of that age. And thy glory went through 4 gates of fire, and of earthquake, and of wind, and of cold, that thou mightest give the law unto the seed of Jacob, and diligence unto the generation of Israel.
Yeah.
And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart.
What did he not take away from them?
The
Even
wicked
though
heart.
he gave them covenant, everlasting covenant, he didn't take away the heart from Adam, the condemned flesh. Even though y'all got this, I didn't take that condemned flesh from y'all. Go ahead.
That thy law might bring forth fruit in them.
So the law will bring forth fruit in you. So now we got the correction for this dying flesh. But we have to understand it still must die or it has to change to immortality. So he said, I didn't take that from y'all because then I'm cleaning y'all up in unrighteous. And he will not do that. No, I got to clean y'all up and then y'all come into righteousness. Let's get some more.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
For the first Adam bearing a wicked heart.
What did the first Adam do?
Bearing a wicked heart, transgressed, and was overcome, and so be all they that are born of him.
Are we born of Adam?
Yes.
Is everybody born of Adam?
Yes.
See, and it's to everybody that's after his spring because he ruined his supernatural.
Right.
Y'all going, bro? Take it easy, y'all. You see that baby boy? Later, buddy. Later, buddy. Later, nephew. Later, baby girl. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 22.
Yeah.
Thus infirmity was made permanent.
What was made permanent?
Infirmity.
So when we went to the definition of infirmity, it said weak, headed for destruction, don't have no power to return. Shalom, Sister Lisa. Y'all understand? Infirmity was made permanent in this dying flesh, but not in the soul. In the dying flesh, infirmity was made. We said, read it again, Zed.
Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away, and the evil abode still.
So the law will prevent the evil from overpowering us. But evil ain't going nowhere till we correct our flesh. Evil is not going anywhere.
Nowhere.
Who you looking at, John?
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm just wondering. Go ahead. Oh, you look like you was finna ask what cup you drinking from. Likes when you do that, bro. Stop it right in its tracks. Don't need no pistol, no sword, or nothing. Go ahead, go ahead.
Verse 23.
Yeah.
So the times passed away, and the years were brought to an end. Then didst thou raise thee up a servant called David.
What was that servant called?
David, whom thou commandest to build a city unto thy name, and to offer incense and oblations unto thee therein. When this was done many years, then they that inhabited the city forsook thee, and in all things did even as Adam and all his generations had done, for they also had a wicked heart.
Y'all read the rest of that, but we're going to skip down to verse 33. In between y'all read, we're just going to skip to verse 33.
Verse 33. And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow with wealth, and think not upon thy commandments.
Still talk about the wicked. Go ahead. Don't think because they got money. Elon Musk got money, the richest man on earth, but he don't think of the Lord's commandments. Go ahead.
Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and there is also that dwell in the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel.
But where?
In Israel.
So thy name is the law, statutes, and judgment. That's his name, the word, the scripture, the law, statutes, and judgment. Go ahead.
Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name hath kept thy precepts, but not the heathen.
Israel by name. So y'all have to understand Israel that follow the commandments, follow the faith of Messiah.
Right.
Not Israel that say Joseph is his dad.
Right.
Not Israel that say we don't believe in the New Testament. Not that Israel. All Israel ain't Israel.
Skin folk don't make you kin.
Skin folk don't make you kinfolk. Actually, this skin folk is dead folk. that will teach you opposite, that say this man is the third in command of all heaven. Except for when he put on his interview clothes.
Things change.
Things change. So y'all, let's keep it moving. So we have 2nd Ezra 3:2. Hebrews 9:27. We're going to run these short ones. And then we're going to finish up with David Mama, y'all. We're going to hit this just right. I believe it's 4:04, so we got a good 45 minutes.
Hebrews chapter 9, verse 27.
Yes, sir.
And it is appointed unto men
Oh, I
once
heard
to
a few
die.
people, page y'all flipping y'all there. Start 24 there, if you will.
Hebrews chapter 9, verse 24.
Yes, sir.
For Christ is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the truth, but unto heaven itself.
Yeah.
Now to appear in the presence of Yahweh for us.
So Christ ain't showing up at your church. He sent the Holy Spirit back for that. He's on the right hand of the Father. He don't enter buildings made with man's hands. He entered that first and corrected that and said, I'm going to tear it up in 3 days. And he was talking about himself first.
Right.
But he cast them out of the temple that we could see with our eyes that was built by men. He said, I'm going to destroy this and let y'all understand what the true temple is.
Right.
Go ahead, read on some more.
Verse 25.
Yeah.
Nor yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest entereth into the holy place every year with the blood of others. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world.
Meaning that every generation he crawled back up on the cross and get crucified again. He's like, no, we're not going to run this like y'all did the animals. Because y'all almost made goats and lambs extinct.
Right.
Turtle doves extinct, because if we didn't believe in Christ, all we had to do was get a turtle dove and keep our sin into turtle doveism.
Exactly.
You didn't have no death sins with you, but you're riding with turtle doves.
Yeah.
Oh, dog, we cool. I got our fix.
We're going out tonight.
We going out tonight. Just try not to get an STD.
Please. She didn't look sick.
But she didn't look
The
sick.
turtle dove ain't gonna fix that.
No, oh boy, let's get some
There's only
more.
so much turtle doves to get.
You're right, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now once in the end of the world hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself.
Yes, sir.
And it is appointed unto men once to die.
How many times is it appointed?
Once to die. But after this, the judgment. So Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many. And unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation.
So when Christ come back the second time, he's not coming back to forgive sinners. Your mind got to be right.
Right.
He's coming back to see if you've been doing what he said. He's coming back. The kingdom is for a prepared people. He said, I'm going to prepare a kingdom for a prepared people. You can't get prepared on the day of the second coming.
No.
Just like the 10 virgins at the wedding supper. 5 of them didn't do what's there? Have no oil. 5 of them had oil. You know, sister?
Yes, sir.
Shalom. So 5 of them had oil. They were prepared. Those 5. And what them 5 that had oil tell them 5 that didn't? You need to go where? Go back to the store. Go back to them men that told you you didn't have to shop now. Oh, he ain't coming back.
Right.
You ain't gonna never be married. He just stalling y'all out.
Right.
Okay. You ain't got no oil.
There you go.
Guess what? It's wedding day.
Yeah.
And you ain't got no garment.
Talking about give me some of yours.
Yeah, no, you can't come in here with that stallion of Megan outfit up in here.
Right.
You got the wrong garments on.
Yeah.
Let's get some up.
In the stag in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yes, sir. That's why we're saying it's really crazy. Go ahead. She got on man britches.
Right.
A stallion. She's coming with the mindset of a man. That's what she taught. Miss me with the horse and carriage. I'm a savage. I want all the men who will come after me. I'll take all y'all on. Do y'all understand what she's teaching? Let's get some more. Let's get right to Genesis 3 and 9. And y'all just want to run the curses. Real quick, we're not getting into it, y'all. We may cut this short because I definitely want to get into David's mother and make sure we don't get to misunderstanding that David's mother did anything wrong when he said, I was conceived in sin. My mother did conceive me in sin. That's a false label by y'all look it up. If y'all look up David's mother right now, it's only going to come back with a Talmudic name. It's the only thing coming up because the scripts only mention David's mother twice and it never mentions her name. It only mentions things surrounding her that you know is David's mother. Because we can't get her mixed up with the virgin that will be born on this wise. Genesis 3 and 9. Let's get it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 9. It reads, And the Most High Yah called unto Adam, and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
So once again, y'all, we understand the nakedness. He didn't have no clothes on. It was Exodus 32:25. It was Job 31:33. He brought the shame of his nakedness, meaning it was 2 Corinthians 5 and 2 also. So what that means is that the drawers got snatched off of him. And he found out what he was doing wrong through his wickedness. That's the worst way you can find out.
Right.
Let's get some more.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
So you see where the Most High went first. I know who told you was naked. You went to where I told you not to go to. Ain't that butt naked disobedience?
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Let's get some more.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
And the man said, The woman who thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
So wait a minute. I gave you rules about her. What you mean you're going to shift the blame to her? She gave me to eat, so you put her in charge. So what you basically saying is you put her in charge.
Right.
Adam, I didn't put her in charge.
Right.
So you're going to blame who I put you in charge of. You're going to blame. It's like our children if you say, well, my child told me she wanted to be a transvestite. She was a girl trapped in a boy's body. My child told me that. And what'd you say? Sure enough, child. Sure enough, child. You feeling that way?
No problem.
Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 13. And the Most High
Hold on
Yah.
a second. John, can you kind of handle that? Just pull that door closed just a second. Cause they starting to get their stuff ready. They going to be back in here at 7 o'clock. So they doing a tribute, y'all, to Mike Brown. They started last night, and then they're gonna finish up tonight. So at 7 o'clock, they'll be doing that second tribute to Mike Brown. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
And the Most High Yah said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Is she telling the truth right here? Is she acknowledging her transgression? She said, the Lord, what is it that I've done? The woman said, the serpent tricked me and I did eat. Did he trick her? It says he was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Right.
Yes, he tricked her because she lost sight on who her covering was.
Right, but also it said it was a tree to be desired by her.
This what we said, that was a deception.
Right.
A tree to be desired should have been Adam.
Exactly.
So she was tricked into believing it's this God.
Right.
It's like if your woman keep telling you about what some other man do. Now you falling into Bobby Womack. If you think you lonely now, always talking about what this man doing, always talking about what that man doing. But if you think you lonely now, wait till tonight. I'm gonna be gone. You can be with him.
There you go.
Y'all understand what I'm saying? They write songs about fallen flesh. We have to write songs about empowering the spirit. Let's get some more.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
And the Most High Yah said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
So he believed what Eve said. Because he charged him with the crime that she said he did. He said, because you did that. He didn't say, was Eve lying on you?
Right.
He know who he sent down her. Because he told us in Revelation 12, the devil is coming down there to get y'all. There was a war in heaven first.
Right.
He got kicked out of there, so he said, I'm coming to rough y'all up too. What you got, bro?
If you go up to I think about 2 or 3, and it said he told the half truth, but it was a lie.
That's all he got to tell.
The half truth is a whole lie, and he just told half of it.
Not
But which was a lie.
absolutely. A little leaven do what? So 99% truth, and then 1% lie do what to that truth?
Make it a lie.
Make it a lie. It make it bootleg. And she fell for the bootleg because for one, he was dressed like Adam was going to be a priest. He was still dressed like a priest because the Most High didn't change his look. He still came bright light, masquerading as an angel of light. The Most High didn't change his. If he changed his look, then we would always do right. That's the devil, because you can see the horn. But if he come like something we desire, and that flesh get at it, you're going to call him God. And you're going to listen to him. And the first thing the devil always do, what did God tell you to do? Right. Y'all understand what I'm saying? The devil don't never come no other way. He always check your mental. What does God instruct you? She told him what he instructed us.
Right.
But he told her, no, girl.
Oh, girl, live a little.
Little. Look, you think Pretty Boy came all this way to fool you? And she saw a tree one to be desired. And he looking just like Hustle and Flow. He in full Hustle and Flow mode. Hair curled up, still got on his garments.
Got them eyes.
And not only that, but it says he's the whisperer. He was whispering. Come on, girl. Girl. Come on, girl. Y'all understand what we saying?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get some more, y'all. We ain't got but 30 minutes.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
So that's Satan's punishment, and his punishment don't come to Isaiah 65:25. Then shall be the dust, be the serpent's meat. Those who get caught out and burned up in the lake of fire, he will eat his dust. He will eat the residue of the fallen flesh, the iniquity flesh. That's his curse, but Satan was never cursed into a snake, and he started licking dust. Serpents don't eat dust.
Right.
Serpent taste dust to see where their prey is at.
Right.
So when you read Isaiah 65:25, it'll tell you when the wolf lay down with the lamb, and then righteousness is returned, then shall the dust be the serpent's meat. Everybody don't make it into the kingdom. That's his meat. Y'all listen to him, so enjoy that feast.
Right.
Let's get some more.
Verse 16.
Yeah.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
So now when you conceive child and they say she's with a child, it's going to be sorrow instead of gladness.
Right.
Go ahead.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband.
See who the desire switch back to?
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And he shall rule over them.
What shall he do then?
He shall rule
So
over
now
them.
he will correct himself and keep order in his house like he's supposed to. That don't mean ruling with an iron fist or be a lion in the house. Shut up, do what I tell you. See, because when they say do what I tell you, they'll tell you, you have to join this cult where I can have multiple women. Then we'll all get in the shower together. And then we'll clean parts that only a rag and soap should be at. Then we'll invite other parties into this room too, long as I'm standing there, according to what they make up them rules say. Right. You can commit wickedness and have a defiled bed as long as I'm in the room. No, you can't, because it don't stop there. Ask the Playboy Bunnies, who Hugh Hefner had all of them, but yet he took the dog of one of them and was finna knock fur loose till she snatched it out of his hand. And then he said, well, dogs need love too. I ain't lying on Hugh Hefner. His women said that.
Come here, Fluffy.
Come here, Fluffy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife.
So why is Adam being punished?
But he listened to his wife.
What that say clearly?
He listened to his wife.
See, everybody getting a punishment for the same crime. It's just what your participation in that crime was.
Right.
Let's read Adam's punishment again.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
Read a little bit more. Read down to verse 20. Oh, you read that out. Go ahead.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it was thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust shall thou return.
If you get caught in that plane crash, or that helicopter, that plane, or you cremated, or were they cremated? Did y'all see that fireball? They didn't have a chance to be buried like normal. They are cremated. So we understand the normal process is to bury you in the ground. But was the Messiah buried in dirt, or was he in a mausoleum that went down under the dirt? But they rolled a stone over that. They didn't throw dirt over that. Right?
Yeah.
Because the angel was sitting in there when they rolled the stone back. They wasn't underground. They wasn't 6 feet underground. So when dust returned to where dust returned, it don't matter how this dying flesh go back. It gets no respect. It's dead. It don't matter how it goes back, but the normal process is to bury. But remember, Adam and Seth and Abel were buried in caves. Y'all understand that? It's just a place to hold a dead body while corruption take place. And there should be nothing but bones left there and the burial cloth. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yes, the natural way to bury. But if you have to do this because of expenses or whatever it have to be, then you have to do what you have to do, but you have to understand the soul. You just can't make that burial process the sacrifice to Molech.
Right.
You have to keep it accordingly to the will of the Lord. And sometimes fire gets you. You think the fire out in California, them people got caught? There's people that got burnt alive. Let's get some more, y'all. Let's finish this up. We got 15 minutes. Go ahead.
Another medical flight fell out the sky yesterday.
Yes, sir, in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, another one crashed.
And boom, straight to the ground.
Straight to the ground.
So because it just filled with gas, it was a big
Oh, boy,
explosion.
come on now. What's left, bro?
Nothing.
What's left? Any flesh? What you got now?
All the people that got burned up in the Twin Towers.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, boy, look here when them 2 planes hit.
Yeah.
Some people jumped out of the window. Now, this is how hot that fire was. I'm 35 stories up. I'm high as the arch stacked upon itself 3 times, and I leap out the window. What are my chances? But it's better than letting that rocket fuel hit the crack of my rear end.
Yeah.
Y'all understand?
Fire make you do crazy.
Boy, but what both of them end up at? Let's read some more.
Verse 20.
Yeah.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Most High Yah make coats of skin.
Yes, sir.
And clothe them.
Right?
And the Most High Yah said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever.
So this would be like a child understands good and evil when they get to a certain age. They should know good and evil. When a boy child gets to the point where he keep watching his mother the whole time while she dressing, because she raised the child, she has to tell him, turn your damn head, so he don't learn the way of how she dresses. If he keep watching how she urinates, how is he going to urinate? He going to do what? He going to sit down. Y'all understand? So it ain't like they born that way. They learn that behavior.
That's it.
What you got over there?
I lost many relationships trying to separate that.
Well, you have to understand, if they the only way around and the father ain't in the home, there's nobody how to teach them to stand up. Now, it may come a time to where you can't stand up.
Right.
Your legs get weak, you have to sit down, but we're talking about a learned behavior that makes you chase a woman. Not that you have to stand. It's safer that you stand up. I mean, sit down. If your legs are weak, then you try to stand up and piss all over the back of the seat. Cause who got to clean that up? When you walk in, old man piss is different from young man piss. Old man piss smell like old man piss, strong and violent. So injuries may make you have to sit down. That don't make you a woman. It only makes you a woman if you think that's the deal. Like Lil Rail will do a joke. He say, he was taught that. He say everywhere he would go, he would just sit down and they was teenagers pissing and they were looking at him. What you? He said, what y'all must got a daddy in your house or something. You know, y'all don't know about this?
Right.
So y'all, the jokes even out there let you know what the deal is.
Yeah.
So y'all, we cannot allow that. So she, at the early age of training, train up a child the way it should go. When they get a certain age, they start looking, they get curious. That's what eating, they was just grown children. And they had to learn the right way to eat from the right tree to give them instructions. Now, after, it's like Ezekiel 16, 1 through 15, that tells you how the Lord married us. That's how they were supposed to do it. When the time of love comes, then he spread his skirt. But they got into that love early. It's like showing a child, making out in front of a child.
Right.
Making out in front of a child.
That's how you do it.
You can't show them good and evil like that at an early age. Now he at daycare swiveling his hips.
Boy,
Let's get some more.
talking about 12 play.
Tell me 12 playing here in kindergarten, pre-primary.
Count to 12.
Go ahead.
Verse 23.
Yep.
Therefore, the Most High Yah sent him from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken.
Go back where you come from. Go ahead.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
So we were blocked from that in this state, just like we're blocked from it now. We have to be changed back into immortality. We can't touch the tree of life. That's why he told Mary, you can't touch me.
Right.
I ain't ascended to my Father, but I'll be back to where you can lay hands on me. But I have to be a clean first fruit offering. Exactly. Y'all, let's run these last few. We're going to close out. We got 15 good minutes. Y'all, the only thing, we're going to go to Job 3, but we only going to expound on it. And this is Job talking about the day he was born. So he was never born in sin. He just explaining, I wish I had been. So that I don't see this trouble that's coming on this dying flesh that I inherited from Adam. Job chapter 3. Yeah. Yes, sir. Who had a question? Nerf. What you got, Nerf?
Still gonna expound on about King David's mother.
Yeah, we're going to get to that, Nerf. DJ, I'm just running these to get, so we go through everything so far we've seen. You cannot be born in sin, but you can be shapen in iniquity. And what that means is the offspring of what Adam, our outer cup is shapen in that sin. That don't make us be a sinner because sin is transgressed the law. If I didn't do what Adam and Eve did, then I can't be charged with that crime.
Right.
Let's get some more.
The book of Job, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Job right before Psalms. Let's get it. Okay. Thank you, Imam. Job chapter 3.
The book of Job, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Now, y'all, what you're seeing in chapter 1 and 2 is the devil being given permission to challenge Job's flesh, but not his soul. Because we read in chapter 2, it tells the devil, you can't touch his soul, skin for skin. But verse 5, but you better not touch his soul. You can only have his flesh that's dying already. So let's get chapter 3. And y'all, and this is Job after he realized that what's come upon him. Let's see what he say.
Verse 1.
Yeah.
After this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day.
Is that his birthday he cursed?
That's what it says.
Yes, sir.
And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man-child conceived.
Yes, sir.
let that day be darkness. Let not Yah regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it.
Now, he ain't said nothing about his father and his mother was wicked.
Right.
None of that. He's talking about what's happening to me personally, to this dying flesh. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the month.
So let's look at this, how people take this and mean you ain't supposed to celebrate birthday. For one, it says Job said, let the day be cursed. Job ain't never worried about the day being cursed until he started getting cursed. He had no problems before that. None. He wasn't talking about his birth before that. All this started to come to pass after his flesh was being attacked. But we're in the wisdom of Solomon. His flesh is being attacked because of righteousness, because the devil been allowed to attack what's already going to die. Not his soul. Satan was never given permission to mess with Job's soul. Go ahead.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
Lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the dawning of the day. Because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes.
See, what it's talking about is the pain coming. He said my mama did nothing. He said, let it shut up the womb so I can't be born.
Exactly.
But he would still have to acknowledge that I've done some wrong, which Job never did. Satan just asked the Lord, let me get at it. I bet he'll curse you to his face. He said you can get at him, but you can't touch but what's already done.
Yeah.
So this is where the conversation is coming from. Job ain't saying my mother conceived me in iniquity.
Right.
Let's get some more.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly?
Right.
Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet. I should have slept. Then had I been at rest.
Y'all read the rest of that for time's sake, but every one of these chapters of Job, it always tell you who talking. So Job run this. He was just saying, it's been better that I had not been born. But he ain't blame nobody. He just saying, curse the day that I was born. Now you got people saying this eliminates birthdays. And then they say, curse the day. This is why February got short days in it. So they're saying Job was born in February. Y'all see how quick, because it say the months of the year, how quick they can alter that. If you don't go back to verse 1 and 2 and see that Satan is an accuser. You got a man here say he loves you and you got him rich and he got everything he want. I bet if you take everything from him, flesh of his flesh, notice he only took Job's children. Right. Job's wife was not killed. She's the flesh of his father-in-law. But all his children died. The Lord let Satan bring a hurricane to come to the house. But he prayed for his children. Satan can attack the flesh, y'all, and that's what he does. Attacks the flesh. Whether you righteous or unrighteous, because he's looking to get at your soul. What you got to about?
Ron Lemons got a question. He asked.
What's up, Ron Lemons, Betty Lemons?
He said, is the time of Job before the establishment of the kingdom of Israel under Saul and David?
Well, what he's under is the laws of Adam and Eve, because you got two separate Jobs. You got a Job that was running around the time of Abraham, and you have one before. You have to look at Job of the Ur of the Chaldees. So it's and then you got a Job in the book of Jasher that was one of the advisors with Balaam. So we have to make sure we got the right one. But the commandments we saw in wisdom was given to Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So no matter what, they had the commandments regardless. And we know he was following the commandments. So Israel only got it to pass it on because it got cut off at the flood. You know, after the flood, men started getting wicked. So he said, I'm going to give it to one people. I'm going to start with my friend, Abraham, who obeyed me. Abraham was before Mount Sinai. Abraham is not an Israelite. Abraham is a Hebrew. Jacob was Hebrew until his name was changed to Israel. He became the father of the Israelites. So the covenant is passed from Abraham, not from Jacob to his sons first. It first went through Abraham, then through Isaac, then through Jacob, then through the 12 tribes. We have to keep the order or we'll push Abraham out of the fold. Israel got it from Abraham. Israel didn't give it to Abraham. Remember, Abraham paid tithes in Levi, and Levi is his great-grandson.
Yep.
Y'all understand what we're saying? Let's read some more, y'all. We got 10 minutes. Y'all, we're going to close out.
Where you going next?
We're going next to, because we're finna get with David's parents. We're going to just run these, y'all, and we're gonna close on out.
Jeremiah 1 said.
So let us get it understood. So far, Isaiah 51 is based off of David's crime with Bathsheba. And he said, I was shapen in iniquity. But before we go there, if you will, somebody hit me Jeremiah 1 and 5, because this will clear up a lot of things, because either we're going to say Jeremiah still was born in sin, or he wasn't, and what's the prerequisite? How did he escape it? Mm-hmm. So give me our Jeremiah 1 and 5, y'all. There's going to be something very important in there. Whoever got it.
Jeremiah chapter 1, I'm going to start at verse 4.
Okay.
Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee
Before
in the belly,
he did what?
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
Yes, sir.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
So we got a problem if you born in sin. Because he said, before you came out of the womb, I sanctified you. I made you clean. So you couldn't be born in sin.
Right.
Y'all understand what I'm saying? So to just lump that all in one is a problem. He didn't talk about his dying flesh. He talked about his spirit. Before I formed you, I put my spirit on you. I'm talking about your soul, Jeremiah. I formed that soul perfect. I just put the Holy Spirit on you in your mother's womb, like I did Samson, like I did John the Baptist. Y'all understand there's a difference of the Holy Spirit coming on you in your mother's womb versus you keeping the commandments after you become an adult, and then he put it on you like he put it on David, like he put it on Samson. But you have to understand, Samson was consecrated with a Nazirite vow in his mother's womb. Judges 13, she was told, don't eat this, don't eat that. He has to be clean. Same way with the Messiah. Mary was told, when you look at all the gospel things, she cannot eat this, she cannot eat that. Angels brought Mary food to make sure she stayed as holy as possible when the Messiah would come in her. Y'all understand what we're saying? Mm-hmm. So this is the question right here. If everybody born in sin, was Jeremiah born in sin right here?
No, it was not.
His flesh still was shapen in iniquity. The Most High just formed him like he formed Adam. He formed Adam and then he breathed on him. John 20 and 20 say the same thing. The Messiah got all the disciples together, then he breathed on them and say, receive ye what? The Holy Spirit. So y'all, it's a consistent pattern. Ain't nobody born in sin unless you transgress the law as a baby. So you would have to be born with them white Al Green shoes on and kicking violence.
Yeah.
You know them baby shoes them toddlers wear? Them shoes hard as hell. I don't know how they learn how to walk with something that ain't got no give. Where we at? Let's finish this up, y'all. We got 5 minutes. We gonna make it, bro. We gonna make it. So get it, y'all. 1 Samuel 16. We're just gonna read enough to let you know why Jesse could not have in sin my mother conceived me, because Jesse was found righteous just like Joseph was in that sense. Mm-hmm. A just man.
Right.
And Joseph said, no, I did not have relations with that young woman. Mm. And the angel confirmed, no, that conception ain't by you. Mm-hmm. There was a spiritual individual before Maury Povich that told us the truth. Let's get it, y'all. We're in 1 Samuel 16. Y'all, we're going to run these real quick. We may not read it all, but we're going to get to the heart of the matter.
You're over here laughing.
Who laughed? Who was that laughing? See, Nerf cutting into my time. See, he got that laughing. So I respond to him.
Right.
But I ain't gonna respond to him.
And what is this thou art doing?
Go ahead, bro. See that? Look at you. See how they start piling on and killing time? Go ahead, y'all. Verse 7. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7.
1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7.
Now 1 through 6, he had went through all the brothers already. And Samuel saying, the Lord ain't lighting none of them up. Go ahead.
But the Lord said to Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as a man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither had the Lord chosen this.
Right.
Then Jesse made Shemaiah to pass by. And he said, neither had the Lord chosen this. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord has not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children?
He asked a question. These all your children? Go ahead.
And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither.
Because the Lord said, it's coming out of Jesse, coming out of him. So far, if David was through an unrighteous seed, he would have never did what's going to take place. Go ahead, bro.
And he sent and brought him in.
Yeah.
Now he was ready.
What was he?
He was ready. And with all of a beautiful countenance and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he.
So he's looking for the inside of David, because he don't look at the outside. He told you he was a handsome young man, but the Lord still look on the inside. He said, it's in the inside of this young man.
Right.
This handsome young man. Go ahead. What else to say?
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren.
Right in the midst of his brethren. Go ahead.
And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah.
So, and then it tells you the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul. It's on David now. But David is a young man. The Lord say, I'm not worried about them strapping brothers of his. You know why? Because they was hiding. Goliath was calling them out.
Right.
Y'all God ain't nothing. And y'all soldiers ain't nothing either. They hide like this. What he saying? You heard what he said. He said y'all some cowards. And David happened to hear it. He like, wait a minute.
Right.
Y'all got on uniforms and y'all letting him talk like that? Reckless like this? Not once did they say his mama was bad and that's why he making them statements. They say, what you doing out here? This men's business, this war. David said, well, I done fought a bear and a lion, and this giant spilling this ain't nothing.
Gonna die today.
What do y'all have on that uniform with an armor and y'all scared?
Under the desk.
And then he went to Saul. What would they give you if somebody killed him? Well, the king gonna give you his uniform and his daughter. David went to him. He said, I can't fit none of that. He said, but I got a slingshot. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get it. I'll get him with this. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So this ain't got nothing to do with David being born. His mother was conceived in, his mother conceived him in sin. He's going all the way back to the garden. And he's explaining what happened from the garden. He said, it started first here, Lord. I'm just a product of that. But I'm not using it as an excuse. Exactly. I did that to Bathsheba.
Right.
Let's get some more.
Oh, you want to keep going on that?
No, we can hold that. We only got 2 more, y'all. Isaiah 11 and 1. All we're going to do is just name Jesse. Revelation 5 and 5, we just do the 1. All we want to do is see Jesse, and then we're going to hit these last 2 on David's mother. But what we want to do is establish his father was a righteous man. So we go to Isaiah 11 and 1. And y'all read down to 12, and then we'll read Isaiah to let you know that David was born after that flesh, but the Christ was not. The Christ was like born like Adam before he sinned. We have to keep that in our mind. Who got it?
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse.
Out of the what?
Out of the stem of Jesse. And a branch shall grow out of his roots.
Now, it's saying it's coming out of Jesse, but it's going to grow out of his roots before him. Go ahead.
And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. The Spirit of wisdom and understanding.
1, 2.
The Spirit of counsel and might.
3, 4.
The Spirit of knowledge. 5. And the fear of the Most High.
6.
And he shall make.
Let me say 7 was the very first one. The Spirit of the Lord is 1, and then the rest add the other. They add up 6, and they become 7. Go ahead.
And he shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Most High. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears.
But how you gonna judge?
But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove the iniquity, the equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Y'all
read the rest of it, y'all understand perfect. But give me Revelation 5 and 5, and then we'll run these 2 of David's mama, and we're going to close out.
I've never seen it like that.
But look, do this one too for me while we getting that, Ariel, if you will, get Matthew 1 and 6. Because this going to explain the only way David did and why David's child couldn't come in being the king. Just Matthew 1 and 6 real quick. It's going to say something about that crime. So once again, we understand, and then read the next verse. 1 and 6 and 7. Matthew chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. What that say?
The book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 6.
What it say?
And Jesse.
And who?
And Jesse begat David, the king. And David the king begat Solomon. Of her that had been the wife of Uriah.
Of her that had been the wife of Uriah. This is not that child. It's clean now. Now she's David's wife. Uriah's dead. That first child had to die. If it was a boy child, that's why it died 7 days, because it had to be circumcised on the 8th. Can't circumcise unrighteous like that. But the Most High say the child got sick. And then David fasted for the child. He said, David, I don't care how you fast for that bad behavior. We ain't going to start that in Israel. That's the same thing like you trying to live in the kingdom or have that child live in the kingdom right. No, he coming to the righteous kingdom. And that's why he said, David said, the child did. They say, yeah. He said, well, ain't no need fasting no more. Bring me something to eat. He said, he can't come back here. It's sealed now. But I can go to him. Because that child is innocent. He didn't ask to be conceived like that. So y'all, we don't have to fear like that. All we have to do is get off the bastard list and be born again. This is what Christ was explaining to Nicodemus in John 3:3. Should a man go back to his mother? He's like, no, player, you got to be born again of spirit and water. That's all he was telling them. How you were birthed ain't going to get you into the kingdom. If you be born again and understand, think like Adam was before he sinned, then that will get you into the kingdom. But let's run this last one on his mama. So what we get is 1 Samuel 22, 1 through 3. That's all we're going to read. And this is when David was on the run. He was protecting his mom and his dad. And he asked a nation to protect them.
I thought you were going to Revelation 5.
Yeah, that's what we'll. Thank you, bro. Go ahead. Run that real quick. Thank you, bro. I'm getting ahead. Go ahead. Thank you, bro. I'm trying to cut these minutes, ain't it? Go ahead. Just real quick. Revelation 5 and 5. Anybody?
Revelation chapter 5, verse 5.
What it say?
And one of the elders said unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, the root of David.
The who of David?
The root of David have prevailed to open the book and to loosen the 7 seals thereof.
So we know it ain't Jesse. It's the root of David. Just like we read in 11 and 1. The root is the offspring. He's before Jesse, but he's just coming through him. Jesse is a righteous man. His mom and daddy didn't conceive David in sin. What he's talking about is at the beginning. I did an unlawful thing that happened at the beginning. I did the same thing Adam and Eve did. I ate from the wrong tree. Instruction, because I had righteousness. They told me who Bathsheba belonged to. And I didn't obey them. If for one, I was supposed to be out when the kings go out to war to show the nation this King David.
Right.
But yet I stayed behind. And look what tarrying cost me laying behind. Now I'm on the roof like this. Wait a minute.
Oh, goodness. Oh, girl.
Let's get these last ones. 1 Samuel 22, 1 through 3. Real quick, y'all, we're gonna close on out here. Look
The
how
book
much
of
time.
1 Samuel,
Oh, yes, sir. I'm only
chapter
2 minutes
22.
behind.
in verse 1.
What it say?
David therefore departed thence, and escaped to the cave at Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they ran down thither to him. And every one that was in distress, and every one that was in debt, and every one that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him. And he became a captain over them. And there were with him about 400 men.
And this is when David was on the run. Go ahead.
And David went thence to Mizpah of Moab. And he said unto the king of Moab, Let my father and my mother, I pray thee, come forth and be with you, till I know what Yah will do for me.
And this is a man keeping the 5th commandment. I need my father and my mother to stay here. I'm on the run. I got to protect them.
Right.
If they were wicked, God would not be involved with this because it would be the results of their bad behavior of David. But he's protecting his parents. Y'all, this is the only thing we got in this Bible concerning David's mother. We know his father was chosen to bear, to let Christ come through his seed. We know that, but he was the beginning of Jesse. Not the offspring of Jesse in the sense, only in the flesh. Not in the spirit. So the next one, y'all, let's just go to Psalm 86 and verse 16, y'all. And this is just David. We just gonna hit verse 16, but y'all read it all. David is just explaining things. Then he gonna ask something about his mama. You know, his mama was like Abigail, a handmaid of the Lord. Even though Abigail was married to Nabal while she was alive. She said, I'm a handmaid of the Lord. That don't mean she's fooling around on Nabal. She's just saying, whatever it is for the Lord and for the kingdom, I will do. Yeah. Even being married to Nabal.
The book of Psalms, chapter 86 and verse 16.
Y'all read 1 through 15.
Oh, turn.
Read verse 15 for me.
Okay. Verse 15.
Yeah.
But thou, O Yahweh, art an Elohim full of compassion and gracious long suffering.
What kind of long suffering?
Gracious long suffering. And plenteous in mercy and truth.
Yeah.
O turn unto me and have mercy upon me. Give thy strength unto thy servant. And save the son of thine handmaid.
And save the son of who?
Thine handmaid.
So he's saying, save the son of my mother who's worshiping you. She's your handmaid. When you read the story of Abigail and Nabal, you'll understand it perfect. She wasn't calling David her Lord. She said, I'm a handmaid of the Lord. If you're saying you're on the way to the kingdom, I'm on the team. I just got to get my husband, to not look the way he's looking. I'm going to follow the laws because she didn't talk to him until he sobered up. And then then he started cursing David. She said, but David was keeping your sheep at no charge. I don't care what that nigga was doing.
Here we go.
Like that nigga anyway. So this is what happened, and the Lord gave him a heart attack. But nothing happened to her because she gave parts raised. But David had swore, it ain't going to be a man that pisses against the wall when morning comes about what he just did. And she stepped in and saved all of the men folk in there by giving him what all he requested, which was way more than he was asking for was way less than he was asking for because he was keeping Nabal's sheep for free, running robbers off, no charge. And all he asked was some cakes and the raisins to let me get through here. We hungry. Y'all understand? But I didn't ask you to keep my sheep. That type of individual. So y'all,
if that ain't our people,
look. So y'all, but that's the only places we got. Anything else is gonna be outside the Bible scriptures, and they're gonna run you to the Talmud of a woman that never existed. And what's that? Talmud and the Kabbalah. So y'all, I think we finished all that. But look, now I'm just giving homework.
Yeah, we ain't finished.
Yeah.
We wasn't finished.
Yeah. The homework is John 3, 1 through 21, to really clear up born again, and 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 13 to 25, and they're both going to explain.
John 3 what?
1 through, John 3, 1 through 21, and 1 Peter, 13 through 25. Both of them gonna be talking about being born again with the mindset before Adam sinned. Y'all, that's all it is. David's just saying, this would happen to me. And in sin was that my mother conceived me. So we have to understand, what mother is he talking about? The mother of all living, like Genesis 3:24 said, and Eve became the mother of all living. He said, in sin did my mother conceive me. Death started that way because their first child had that stain on them. Like we just read and said, everybody that come after Adam got that stain on them. Ain't nothing you can do about that stain.
Nothing.
Y'all, hope we got some good understanding there, y'all. Hope we got some good understanding, y'all. And I just want to send out my health list we did. Brother Uriah, Hannah, and I continue prayers and blessings. They're doing well. Akda over in the Holy Land. Emo, Naomi, Emo, Yisrael. Also to our brother Elisha and Sister Miriam. Alexis is doing well, y'all. Paid a visit. Sister came up there. Sister, a few people came up there. Sister, I'm almost forgetting her Hebrew name. What? Damaris. No, not Damaris. Forgive me, sister. I'm drawing a blank here. But also to Brother Jeremiah, who slipped on some ice and broke his ankle. Shemaiah, I'm sorry, Shemaiah. Look, I was trying to think of that, Shemaiah. I just couldn't put the words together. I'm sorry, Shemaiah. Shemaiah came up and visited well. Lexus is doing well. She's up, but all the nerves are firing again, so it's going to take going to rehab for 2 weeks, and then they'll let her come home. But she's talking good, she understands good, she was on her phone taking selfies. So she good, but every now and then, those nerves are coming back to life. What you got to about?
Elijah texted in the chat earlier. He said, Shabbat Shalom, family, my beloved brethren. My daughter is being released today.
Oh, today?
Yes, sir.
But she's going to rehab. So y'all, prayer works. And just want to send shouts out to the Rod out there in Minnesota, our brother Rodney, and also Roddy Rod Hudson. Yes, both of them are maintaining this dying flesh as we all are. Yes, so with that, y'all, we're going to close on out of here. Look at that time. I got 4 minutes to spare. Huh? Ain't it over at 5? Is it over at 5? What time you got on that, nerd?
4:57.
Huh?
Don't encourage me.
So it ain't 5, is it?
Don't encourage me, please.
Yes, sir. Y'all look, Jacob has the holy calendar up for the year. So go on Mr. Hebrew 1 site and look at all the feast days for the year. It starts with Purim and ends with dedication, y'all. So there's no reason we should get behind the 8 ball on our feast days. They're posted already.
And you can put them in your phone on your calendar.
Yes,
with
sir.
a reminder.
Yes, sir.
That way you won't miss the feast day.
Yes, sir.
That's today.
That's what?
You shouldn't have to say that, Zed.
No, you shouldn't have to.
All right, family. We're going to get this closing prayer.
Yes, sir.
And it is with the Most High's permission.
Yes, sir.
And it's in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son,
Yes, sir.
our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer,
Yes, sir.
Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, family. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms,
Read.
in the 27th chapter,
Yes, sir.
it reads, the Lord is my light and my salvation.
Yes, sir.
Whom shall I fear?
Yes.
Yahweh is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?
Yes, sir.
When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear.
Yes.
Though war should rise against me,
Yes, sir.
in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Most High, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of Yahweh all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Most High,
Read.
and to inquire in his temple.
Yes.
For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion.
Yes, sir.
In the secret of his tabernacle
Yes, sir.
shall he hide me.
Yes.
He shall set me upon a rock. And now shall mine head be lifted up above mine enemies round about me.
Yes, sir.
Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy.
Yeah.
I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Most High. Hear, O Yahweh, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me, and answer me. When thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Master, will I seek. Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy servant away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O Elohim of my salvation. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Most High will take me up. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Most High in the land of the living. Wait on the Most High. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Hallelujah! Selah!
Y'all got a shekel or two, we greatly appreciate it. Also, if young wise servants still listening, y'all, we're going to go over the major three, what they think of the contradiction. The voice that Paul heard and the man didn't hear, we'll clear that up, as well as Israel being numbered, and the contradictions concerning the cock crowing twice. It's something very important before that, because the Messiah actually went to the disciples 3 times also and asked them, can y'all pray with me? And 3 times they couldn't. So it's a little bit more further than we think into these gospels, but I speak as a man. So when we break that down, we'll go over it. So y'all look, we just need to